I got hired by the U.S. State Department with the American Refugee Committee, and what we did was we created a program called "I Am a Star" campaign, and that was with Kanan, who's a Somali artist. And what we did was we raised money. They hired me basically to design campaigns, and we raised money with the United Nations and other organizations to build three hospitals in between Somaliland and in the refugee camp in Kenya, in Dadaab, Kenya, which is like mostly that. We did that. I raised the money for that, and then we built three hospitals because
It's called divide and conquer. You guys are going.
Wait, let
That's
me
very
finish. Let me finish the
disrespectful.
point.
Come on.
Let
Are
me
you
finish the
serious?
point. Let me finish the point. We built those hospitals there because there were thousands of Somalis who were fleeing Islamic radicalism, going into Dadaab, Kenya, which is the largest refugee camp in the world, and they were going in there, and but people were dying from cholera and other diseases.
At what time,
right?
Black Rabbi? What time was this? What
This is
period?
this is like 2013. 2012, 2013, around that time.
But Somaliland, it's not even recognized. So why would you guys do?
No, AB, just 1 second. Black Rabbi.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's not recognized?
No. Just forget all that. Black Rabbi. So you said what part of Somalia were people fleeing from? What part?
Jeez, this is so long ago.
No, because you made a point. I'm very, very I'm a Somali. I know my history and the geopolitics.
So let me ask you, so you're Somali, like Somali.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a Somali Canadian.
So you know a group named Sweet Rush?
Sweet Rush, like where are they based
yes,
out of?
Yes, I know them. The singers. Yeah, from Toronto. I know.
From Toronto, yes. So they used to live. Yeah, so they used to live with me. I took care of them for a while when they were in Los Angeles, and then I was working for the United Nations, right?
Yeah.
And through the State Department, it was really through the State Department, but we partnered with the United Nations, and we did we raised the money, we built those hospitals. I worked with Kanan. Kanan was a big part of the program. There was a bunch of really amazing Somalis that were part of this program. It was like two girls that were twins. I can't think of what their whole thing.
So was it in the south? Obviously, it was in the south of Somalia. Like since you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I will tell you this. But I was supposed to go to Somaliland, and I was going to go with a caravan with the UN and go from Somaliland to Dadaab, Kenya. And the reason why we didn't go, I took my shots, I got everything done, we were ready to go.
Yeah.
The reason why we didn't go, and I'll leave with this. That there was a graduation, and you probably remember this. There was a graduation in Somaliland of I think it was like 400 doctors that were Somalians that went to the UK and became doctors, and they came back to graduation. And El Shabazz, if I'm saying her name correctly, they bombed the hotel where the graduation was at and killed all the doctors.
That wasn't in Somaliland. It wasn't in Somaliland, bro. It wasn't.
Was it at?
Like what you're talking about, it happened literally in Kenya.
So just explain it, yeah.
No,
it wasn't. No, it was like it's called the NFD region, where so there's two incidents. There's one that happened in Kenya in 2006, and there's a 2013 event that happened.
That's the 13. That's the one I was.
Okay. So your point, the reason why I had to interject.
Well, brother, can you explain what happened?
I definitely will. The reason why I had to interject is because you keep making a point on Islamic radicalism, how Somalis flee from Somalia because of Islamic radicalism, right? It's just that's the thing,
I'll
man.
explain. Okay, so I'm Ahmad. Okay, can I just
go ahead.
I'll let you finish right after. Okay, so Black Rabbi, right? I think you have a grasp of what's going on in the Middle East, right?
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for sharing the information. And mashallah, that's really nice that you guys did that. But what I will explain to you is Somalia's problem is tribal, and they have a tribal warfare going on. Yes. And I would argue that that's the bigger issue. And so what's happening with Al-Shabaab is what we found out is that they are funded by Iran. They are funded by external groups. And yes, they do create chaos and so on. But the reason why Somali people get upset is we are just like the brother in the room. We're well aware of what's going on in our country, right? And we know, like, if you just notice, like, while you're in the room, some guy came in and tried to get upset about talking about Somaliland. That's a triggering conversation because there's still a tribal problem going on, right? That is still a bigger problem for us than even Islamism. You
Yeah,
understand?
that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I would say if you want to argue about Islamism or whatever, I would say it's a problem maybe in Palestine, it's a problem in Iran. The way I see is the Iranian people are fighting against it or whatever. They want to get rid of their
What's
government.
Islamism?
But Somalia, no.
What's
You know
Islam?
what, brother? You know what? I don't like those terms either. But I need to use some term that we could at least like understand.
So you can
But
use,
I
you
get
know
what
what would
you're
be
saying.
better? Because
Yeah,
when you
tell
say
me.
Islamism, so here's the problem, right?
Yeah, what's the better
This
word?
is
I don't like it either.
no, so the problem is, like, honestly, the West uses a lot of buzz terms to demonize Muslims. Terms like fundamentalist. I'm a Muslim fundamentalist, 100%. I believe in my book and in the Prophet's way, alayhi salatu wasalam, 100%.
You keep breaking up.
I'm
Hold
a
on one moment.
fundamentalist.
Can you mute up? Because you keep... Talk again, brother.
Okay. So can you hear me?
No, you're still in the matrix.
Okay, so
Just wait for a second because I want to make a comment about
You guys come. You guys, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna
English.
come back in a second.
Yeah, go
But I
ahead,
want you
brother.
guys to know that I
Go ahead.
respect you guys. I love you
too.
guys as human
Love you too.
beings.
Love you
And
too. Peace.
if we keep having these types of dialogues, we're gonna get somewhere. This is not a battle.
Inshallah. Yeah.
This is about revolution of thinking, right? And we need to figure
Absolutely.
out how do we get all of our people into a new level of thinking. Right?
Thank you so much.
And that's where
Thank
peace
you.
comes out of that. But I'll come back. I'm just chilling with some friends right now.
Yeah, come back. Okay, shalom, bye. You know what I was gonna say though, right? A fundamentalist is someone, right? I don't. I hope you can still hear me. Welcome, Norma and Randy. I hope you can still hear me. 81, right? A fundamentalist, the way they explained it, is someone who looks in the past, and they argue that these people are looking in the past for the when the caliphate was amazing and the Muslim world was in power. That fundamentalists look towards that. Now, my question is, all these young kids that believe America's was in the past, make America great again. The ones in England too that believe in we were better in the past. Is that fundamentalist? Is that considered fundamentalist? Would that be the same thing? Right?
I don't understand that definition of fundamentalist.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, saying that some days were the good old days, that doesn't make you a fundamentalist. You know, saying that, before the internet, people were friendlier and less isolation, does that make me a fundamentalist?
No, but saying that you want to kill or you hate a group of people and you're planning to kill them because we have the great white replacement, they're all replacing us. That's fundamentalist too, and that's violent because you're saying I don't want these immigrants.
I'll denounce that. I'll denounce that any day of the week. Anyone who thinks white people replacing, all that stuff is terrible. I don't know if you call them fundamentalists. Racist is a good word.
Yeah, I still think they're fundamentalists because they're looking to the past of a heyday that's not there anymore. And now they're arguing they could deport. Fine, fair enough. They could deport people. But
so nostalgia is not inherently fundamentalism. If you heard the Democratic National Convention the last two nights, all of them were talking about a kinder, gentler time when you could leave your garage door open and you went to soccer practice and then you had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It was like make America great again, except without saying make America great again. It was like, remember the good old days? That's what it was about, which is sort of acknowledging the failure of the current administration.
Right, and Trump, when he said that, he means it from an economic perspective. He's saying that we want America to be great again in terms of economic, even though it's still the most economically powerful country, he's saying we might lose it. And that's where his stance. So I don't think his is racial at all. But what I'm saying is there are young men that are being radicalized to think of it as a racial thing. You understand? That's why I think that's just as fundamentalist as some Wahhabi Shia who's telling them that we want the caliphate again. When? That was, you're talking about like...
I think what Trump wants is military strength and confidence. Like he wants to sell an up... Well, interesting. Kamala is selling joy and Trump is selling sort of masculine confidence and power. Remember her theme now is joy. Feel the joy.
Well,
so it's marketing. Huh?
Yes, but it is marketing abnormal. But the thing is, the regular people believe it. The young kid that shot him in the face, that kid probably believed what Trump is talking about and thought we're going to go into a civil war, a race war. He actually probably believes this stuff. And look, he ended up shooting Trump. So Trump himself is a victim, in my opinion, of the same MAGA spirit. And
did Trump say we were going into a race war?
No, but some of the people that like, okay, there's a video you could see of Trump where he said Ilhan Omar, she should be deported or something. And they start saying send her back. And you could tell he was disgusted. His face looks disgusted. And they asked him about it. Look, I don't think Trump is even a racist person. I just think he's a capitalist and he's more from an economic perspective. He wants America to compete with the rest of the world, right? And that's not even a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. I think he's trying to do something good. The problem is that there's the wackos that like can easily turn on him, and I think that's what that little kid did. That's what I'm saying. Like he comes across almost MAGA. I don't know. Did he look Iranian to you? Was that? I don't know. They were claiming Iran was doing it too. I don't know. I really don't know. It's something I don't understand. But we were talking about fundamentalists. That's the thing. That was the argument. But they all ran away.
A fundamentalist is like a literalist. They take things so literally that they don't make sense. So they believe that they understand what the word of God is, for example, and their word of God is a translation of a translation of a translation of a Bible, which they then take literally. So that's just like almost like a cognitive issue. It's just not very smart.
Yes, absolutely. If anyone wants to come up, more people, everyone just ran away. The black rabbi said he wants to come back up. I know people go to different rooms, but if people want to come up and share, fine. But if you're just trolling, I'm kicking your dumb ass out of the room.
Did you know that he used to be both Muslim and then he used to be Christian before he became Jewish?
Well, Princess, I came in here.
Oh, actually, I had a question for you.
Did you know the guy calling himself Black Rabbi used to be Muslim and used to be Christian before he became a Jew?
No, I didn't know that. I thought he was being very polite, but he...
I didn't say he's impolite.
No, I know. I'm not saying you, but he was talking about how he did some charity work in Somalia and stuff. But the problem is that when he uses the word Islamic fundamentalism, it triggers people because it's like, okay, by saying the Muslim countries don't have good leadership, are they ignoring the fact that there was an Arab Spring and that so many of these countries did take their leadership out? And like even when he talks about Iran, how many Iranian kids are dying on the street trying to take their leadership out? Why do they ignore that? That's what angers me. Like that's why I didn't want to get mad at him, but he was pissing me off a bit, respectfully.
Who named the room? Who named this room? Is it okay for Israel to become a world superpower? It's a very triggering name. What does it mean to be a world superpower? How many world superpowers are there right now? Is someone suggesting that Israel aspires to be at the level of the U.S. and China? Is that what the headline of the room means? I'm just wondering.
So, Randy, we're not supposed to let them know that we actually control the U.S. and China with our thought control. Do we not tell them about that?
Look, we control the Chinese economy because the Jews decided not to eat Chinese food on Christmas Eve. The Chinese did probably go bust. Their whole economy would fall apart. But we don't like to talk about it. But what does the room title mean? Israel to be a superpower. How many superpowers are there? Do you consider England and France a superpower?
They're declining, but they still kind of are. I don't know, but is Israel a superpower in the Middle East? That's a good question. Would you think it's a superpower in the Middle East? What do you guys think?
No. I think Iran is probably the most aspiring. They are the ones who want to dominate, fund proxies. I think Iran is the closest thing we have to an aspiring superpower in the Middle East.
Okay, fair enough.
They're building a nuclear weapon. They're paying for terror attacks all around the world. They pay people to attack synagogues in Argentina, elsewhere. I guess they're the most powerful. They're the biggest. They're the richest. By any metric, they're the closest we have to a superpower.
So here's the thing, Randy.
It's very sad.
The reason why people get suspicious is I know leaders sometimes have to sell a war, right? The way Bush sold the war to Americans was that the weapons of mass destruction were in Iraq, correct? I was old enough to remember that. Now he's saying is Iran. And that's where people get suspicious because it's like, why has there been a war in the Middle East for the last 20 years? And they're saying there's weapons there's this here, there's that, and then there's never any evidence for any of this stuff. Like, this is where people get suspicious. Now, whether they want to blame the Jews,
there are no
my thing is,
superpowers.
it's America. Sorry? Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, just saying there are no superpowers in the Middle East. Not of yet. Most of them, they can make it harder, but to really have huge influences in the world, not even Iran. I mean, oil. Yeah, it's easier to get in the Middle East, but it's still you can always get out.
So
Like
I had a
superpower
question.
is the amount of influence you have on other nations. Like you can literally break another nation just by not just military but with trade. So neither Iran, Israel, or whatever. That is
Listen, look. If you think that because we made, this reminds me of people who, like, every time you talk about any U.S. involvement in any foreign conflict, they start talking about Vietnam. If every time we talk about Iran, people start bringing up Iraq and what happened 20 years ago, then we're never going to get anywhere. We'll never know. Guess what? We'll never know to what extent Iraq had WMD. WMD is a very vague and open term. It doesn't just mean nuclear weapons. We saw that on September 11th. An airplane, when driven into a building, is a weapon of mass destruction. But the fact, if Iraq, if they didn't find a stockpile, they certainly had what's called ramping up capacity. And that is where we are with Iran today. They may not have a nuclear weapon today, but according to different experts, they have all the tools and methodology to make one in a month or two. So you may not go there and find a nuclear weapon tied up with a neat bow, but there's definitely centrifuges. They're definitely working on the technology, and just because you won't find a nuclear weapon doesn't mean that they don't have the ramping up technology and they're not working towards it. The problem is if you wait till they have it, like in the case of North Korea, by the time you confirm 100% they have it, guess what? They're a nuclear power. You can't do anything about it. So that's where other factors come in.
what do you mean anything about it? What you saying they're going to attack the U.S. with their troops?
Could you speak directly into the mic because I'm not hearing you?
No,
But what
that's
I'm
what
saying
I'm
is
saying.
once a country has a nuclear weapon, it's a lot harder to stop
Do
them
what?
once they have the weapon.
To stop what? I want to understand. Are you saying they're going to use it to attack the U.S.?
They want to use it to attack Israel. They've said it.
Or any
They said Israel is a cancer and they want to destroy Israel.
not
You hear
only
that?
yeah, not only
but
that,
it's not.
oh, sorry,
That would be the
Not
stupidest
only
thing they do.
Yeah,
Not
but
if
No,
they-
do you want to go? You want to? Maybe it's not the stupidest. That's your opinion. Maybe they think it's the smartest thing they could do. It's just 1,000 times the size of Israel. They could, with one nuclear weapon, they could destroy Israel. It would take 10 nuclear weapons to destroy Iran or more.
But that would be the end of Iran. Like
right,
no world nation is going to be buying.
So the same with suicide bombers. They do things that are against their normal instincts, but
Right,
that's
so-
their culture. Tells them it's okay to do it.
right. If I could just say quickly, right? Putin has been saying over and over again that he might use a nuclear weapon. He said that multiple times, right? Now people think he's bluffing, right? But the point is that we're at a stage in history where it became normal for leaders to just is sadistic to even threaten. Because before, just having bombs, like nuclear bombs, like they put it in Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? Just it being near America is very scary, right? So people were like terrified. That was when they thought the whole world is going to go into a nuclear war, right? Now they won't put it near anywhere, but the leader will start threatening and saying they're going to use it. I don't know about you, but just I know people will say it's stupid, it's mutual suicidal. No one in their right mind would do it. What about someone who's not in their right mind? Would they do it? Would they touch it? And Putin might be one person. Do we know who else is underneath him? Like, would you trust?
Like, do
But
you
listen,
really believe attacking Iran is actually gonna ensure Israel's survival? Because Russia has even made a pact on protecting Iran on military terrorism if the US steps in. So now you're going to be fighting two world nations, and then you have the Middle East, and then that's just going to make the Middle East so ungovernable. No one will even stay there. Like, I think we just get unrealistic on this part for both part, right? Like, is the motive
So your logic is Iran could do anything, and and Israel would be crazy to attack them, right? Israel is stuck. They can't do anything.
Israel just killed. How didn't they kill?
100 kids,
Who was
right?
that person they killed?
I
Well, they
think
killed the
so.
leader of Hamas.
And
They
they killed
killed the leader of
another.
They were
Hamas in
Hamas.
Iran.
My point is,
You're thinking of
you
Hamas. They killed 1,200
They
Jews.
also killed.
You got
Israel
confused.
killed also 100 kids in a school last week as well.
Yeah, because Hamas was hiding there. That's what happens when terrorists hide among civilians.
Yeah, we
It's not. It's not a. You don't get out of the war by hiding among civilians. You just cause more civilian deaths. But people. Nobody says, "Oh, we can't attack these people because they're hiding among children." No, it's you say, "Well, that's a shame. It's really too bad, but we have to get these people, even if they're hiding among children. Otherwise, they'll never get caught. Otherwise, you can never defeat
No, I'm
Hamas
sorry.
because they hide in hospitals."
We
I
have
don't wanna I don't
international
wanna I don't
rules
wanna
of
dwell.
war, and in the international rules of war, you cannot bomb schools.
You cannot hide in hospitals, but they're
You
doing
cannot
it.
bomb. You
You
cannot
can't
bomb.
station people in hospitals, but
So
they.
guess what? Israel is completing a war crime, and that's why they're in the ICJ right now. A lot of countries filed a genocide against them. So let's see down the line.
Yeah, if anyone
Attacking
else wants to
Iran
come
full
up, yeah,
throttle.
go ahead.
I just want to be quick. Attacking Iran full throttle will not just, I don't think, just destabilize the Middle East. It will ensure that Israel does not exist. Palestine does not exist. Hell, even Kuwait, all the surrounding
What are you
nations,
talking
they
about,
will not exist whatsoever, man. That would be one of the most destructive things you ever do on the world map. And that's why America, the United States, is even hesitating on that level. They even allow Israel to get revenge after you killed whoever. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I do see Americans, for most part, as much as angry there, then they're not also Americans are not stupid, man. You can put emotions all you want. At the end of the day, no one, both Russia, both even Israel, no one is willing to really cut that super threshold as much.
Do you remember when
if you did that, I think there might be a point where America would even not back Israel.
You know what? Let me just say something. Israel literally targeted American soldiers, and we don't even have this discussion.
When was that? When was that?
They killed American soldiers knowingly.
When? You seem to know something that I don't know. When? When did that happen?
You don't.
What are you talking about?
Okay, but could we be respectful, Randy?
No, I just want to know what she's spreading a big lie, a big fat lie, and I want to know what she knows that I don't know.
You don't remember the year?
When was it? Just tell me what year. You don't have to tell me the date or the month, but what are you talking about?
It happened night. Okay, go on mute for like.
What year?
Go on mute and then I can. Okay. So, guys, on June 8, 1967.
Okay. Yes, that was a mistake. That was not intentional. That was 60 years ago.
Okay.
You're going back 60 years, and that was a mistake.
Okay.
All right. Take care, guys. I see where this is headed. You're looking for a big lie. Yes, it's called. Yes, we know about it. But
It's okay. It's okay. Just go around.
It wouldn't be a lie because
the U.S. understands it. The U.S. has made Israel its number one ally. But you want to stir up a 60-year-old incident? Okay.
No, but Randy, you asked her for a date. She gave you a date.
I wanted to know what she was talking. Now I know what she's talking about. First of all, she's lying about the facts. She's lying about the facts.
Okay. Did you know this? So this is for the audience, guys. In June 8, 1967, the Navy intelligence ship. So we had a ship, right? The USSR Liberty. That's what it was called, right? And Israel, knowingly, even though they had intelligence from Egypt, dropped a bomb on a United States ship, right? How many Americans died? 34 American soldiers died. Guys, we're not even taught about this. We're not told this in our classrooms. No one tells us that Israel attacked America and killed 34 American soldiers. Guys, I need you guys to write this down so you can do research. It's called the USS Liberty. And this was 34 Americans were dead because of Israel. So please write that down, read about it, so you know what they've done to America themselves. And
look, this is the reason why that doesn't make sense, AB, is when it comes to Israel, right? The country Israel, right? It's an ally. You guys are separating it from America. Look, America was leading the war that was going on in the Middle East. There were many countries involved, like Russia. Russia was in Syria, right? Then you had Canada was even supporting America at some point in Afghanistan, right? You had the British. You had multiple different countries taking part in that conflict, right? So when you're seeing Israel now taking part of it, people turn it into something that is like completely different. It's just a continuation of America. That's it. It's an ally and it works alongside with America. It's not separate.
AB, can I say one
Let
princess?
her. Yeah, just I don't want any emotional pointing.
Princess. No, it's not emotional.
Okay.
For me, Israel isn't just an ally, and there's books I'm gonna reference that talk about there were times where Israel aligned with the British and the French, right, in opposition to U.S. foreign policy. So Israel isn't just an ally. I feel like they've seeped in. Like, go ahead.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Right? Do you consider? I'm gonna ask him a question. Do you consider Canada an ally to America? Yes or no?
100%.
Okay. What if I told you that America with the British burnt down the White House and had a war with America called 1812? Does that change that Canada is its ally? Yes or no?
That isn't the same dynamic, but it doesn't.
Am I allowed to? If I'm just allowed to.
But you asked me a question, right, Princess?
No, I'm talking about AB, not you.
No, repeat it again. I can't hear you.
Oh, I thought you asked me. Okay, go ahead.
I know it's not you, brother. I'm having a conversation with you, and then she jumps in. I didn't know you didn't hear, sister. Okay, I'm repeat the thing because I'm talking to him. That's why I asked him that Canada at one point, because it's a British colony, it was a loyalist to the British, right? So it went against America and burnt down their White House, right? So even when you look at World War I and World War II, Canada was involved in all of them. America just jumped in towards the end because America fought the British and is no longer was its kind of like colony, even though it has more of a loyalty to England than it does other places. Now Israel is the same way. It was created by the British mandate, yes, but is it loyal to England anymore? No. It's very much more aligned with America. Yes, right? Would that be wrong or right for me to say?
Princess, I never said Israel is loyal to England. I never said that. That wasn't the point of what I said earlier, right? It definitely is a lot more, America adjacent. I don't deny that. But that wasn't even my point. You know what I mean?
Fly back to Princess. Listen, Canadians didn't do that. That Canada was not one political party until 1867. So it's actually a lie when people say, "Oh, Canadians came to the White House and burnt." No, they didn't.
They were royalists, though.
They were a whole bunch of political parties that had no sovereign Canada. It was just people that were, against the United States. So we can't say Canada.
Fair enough, but what I mean is allies can change, right? So let's say for example, right, in the future there's a conflict that goes on between America and England. This is all hypothetical, right? And Canada decides, right, to change. Actually, no, I have a better example, right? Trump is American, and he's arguing that the EU should step up and pay for their own defense, and that he doesn't want America to, be leading these wars anymore, and that he doesn't feel like they do their part enough. That's what he said, right? So he is breaking these historical ties. He doesn't care. Every country wants survival, right? So the Israel is in the Middle East, right? It has a survival tendency. It wants to survive, right? And all those countries around them don't like them. And guess what? They actually have a good reason to. Not only do they dislike Israel's presence in the region, but they also hate the fact that they're aligned with America. Guess what? America was behind Benghazi. Yeah, Libya. Do you know how many of the Middle East?
Dude, one of the most important allies of the United States are the GCC countries.
What are those countries? Can you name them?
Which which is Saudi Arabia, Qatar.
I said Libya.
All Kuwait.
I mentioned Libya, Benghazi.
No, but I'm saying that the biggest Zionists sit in the GCC countries, which is again United Emirates, right? All these countries are they're allies to the United States. What do you mean? They bow down to them.
Right, but that's not what my argument was. My argument was that there are countries in the Middle East that have an issue with America because of America's role in the region, right? So if you look at Libya with the whole Benghazi situation, of course Saudi Arabia doesn't have an issue with America. Why would it? But there are multiple other countries that have disdain. Look, there are many countries in the Middle East that said that if Israel wasn't aligned with America, that they would have destroyed Israel a long time ago. That's what they said. That they think that they have a powerful backing. That's it. You understand?
No, but Princess, after the USSR Liberty thing where they bombed and killed Americans, why would I be an ally to a country that stabbed me in the back and killed my people? Does that make sense? Why?
Because allies are not made through love. Allies are made through survival, and allies are made through what you offer me. Israel. Look. Listen, AB, one moment, okay? You're acting like these countries, right, have some kind of love. This is a group of people that literally did the Holocaust. Europe, right? America used to be anti-Semitic as hell. White supremacists don't even like Jewish people. So this idea that the same white supremacists in America all of a sudden love Jewish people is nonsensical. Israel offers very important intelligence to America. It offers things to America. If it didn't offer anything, they would be at the bottom of the barrel like the rest of the world is. You have to offer something in order for you. It's called power. That's what it's called. That's it. It's just power. Because I don't know why you guys think it's based off of like anything else, like some voodoo. No, America's strategic.
Just one second, Mr. Princess.
Can you let Mr.
Americans will be underestimated. I'll be quick. I'll also be quick.
Can you go?
Americans.
Bro, you're not a mod.
Be a fair mod. I got off a mute before.
Do you want to be a mod? So do you want?
I don't want to be a mod. Like, go ahead, Miss. Like, bro, you're too jump.
You can't tell me what to do in the room. You're out. I'm just gonna remove you from the room because you can't tell me what to do in my own room. What the fuck? What's wrong with this guy?
Just because you're giving modding Alonzo.
Peace out. Peace out. He thinks he could be disrespectful for no reason. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't care about your emotions and what you like and don't like. Don't like me. I don't care. Go ahead, mister.
Yeah, I agree with you. No, I agree with you for a point. I think there's this thing where people actually think love plays a part with allyship. Americans have died in Greece. Americans have died in Germany through government, maybe through some citizens or whatnot. Like Americans die a lot through a lot of events that people just don't put on TV. It's only when maybe it's in the Middle East and it goes with a narrative that they want to push, like, Iraq killed some Americans. That's why we're going for weapons of mass destruction. Those are just coincidences. The truth is, America benefits a lot more with Israel being there because they're more like a watchdog for them. They're like a satellite state. So I understand with that, but it's not that I'm pro-Israel or anything. It's, just sensical for most people.
I have a question. Elnor, do you believe that there's an occupation?
Where?
Like in the West Bank and the settlers that are there, do you think that's right, legal?
I would say a better term is disputed territory, as I was explaining to that guy Saganor before. If you look at the history of the region, Arafat considered the entire state of Israel an occupation. So when people use that term, I worry that they're being deceptive. So I would say there are Arab villages in Judea and Samaria. And what happens with them is very much up in the air. I think we were on a pathway to peace for a long time, but I think Hamas blew that up. So we already have peace with Jordan, with Egypt, with Saudi, which to me is the leader of the Muslim world, the Sunni Muslim world, UAE, another leader, Bahrain, Morocco. We're going to continue that peace process. And at some point, the Palestinians are going to have to put down their guns, or else we're going to be in a state of conflict indefinitely. The only solution I can see is for the Palestinians to put down their guns. If they do so, I think Israel will be delighted for them to have self-government, but they're not going to be empowered to hurt Jews. That's going to be prevented.
No, but the international community doesn't see it as, first of all.
Well, I don't think there is such a thing as an international community, frankly.
Okay, United. Okay, why don't nation then?
Huh?
How about the United? Do you believe what any statement the United Nations says, or?
I would say the United Nations has said some good things and some bad things. So everything that everybody says, even if it's my mother, is subject to my examination. So to just say that the land is occupied is to sort of beg the question, whose land is it? Under what terms? What's the deal? Israel won that land in a war.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that if the territories, do you think it's productive to peace when more settlers and more communities are being built? And do you think that's towards peace or do you think towards conflict?
I think that's productive for Israel's security and the fulfillment of some Jews' idea that that is Jewish land. So whether or not that's Jewish land, I think, is yet to be determined. The Arabs who live there can help make that decision. If they're violent, then their future does not look good. If they're peaceful, then they have an opportunity for sovereignty, because the Jews don't really want or need to push them out. Also, that's not a Jewish thing, to push people out or to hurt them, exterminate them, God forbid, any of those things. We don't do that. However, we are willing
the settlers do.
No, I don't think they do. I think you have it wrong. I think that's sort of like a made-up thing.
There's documentaries online. Norm, are you seriously didn't see a whole bunch of videos all over the internet?
So now your response to me is, did you not see a whole bunch of videos? I don't. I haven't seen a whole bunch of videos. However, that land is disputed. Jews want it, and Arabs want it.
But okay, so
as I said a minute ago, wait, let me finish my statements. As I said a minute ago, the future of it will be decided by whether or not the Arabs who are there are peaceful. If they're violent, then Jews are going to feel justified to continue to settle more. I don't even think we're kicking out people who are already there. I think we're just settling area that is sort of left up in the air. You have area A, B, and C. So I'm not sure where you claim that a Jew is somehow pushing somebody out. Which area are you talking about? Do you have a specific area, or is it just something you saw in a video?
No, Norm. I'm saying I'm just saying the international community. I know you don't like that name.
Wait. I asked you. It's not that I don't like the name. I don't think it exists. So I asked you a direct question. In what place did Jews push somebody out? Where?
No,
what's the name of the place?
No, like the Palestinians that have homes, right? Palestinians that have homes. Okay. There are settlers that come and say that.
I asked you. That's the second time I asked you. You seem very confident that somebody is doing something. Where did they do this, please? It's the third time I'm asking. And the fact that you don't have an answer makes me think it's not true, to be honest. Where did somebody push somebody out, please? What's the name of the place? If you know. It sounds like you don't know. Are you Palestinian? I forget if you are. AB, it's very quiet in here. What happened? You were going to tell me this big revelation that somebody pushed somebody out. What happened? Suddenly it gets quiet when I ask you who, what, where? That's not credibility. AB, now it's just you and me, and you have the mod. What happened? Why are you quiet? You're looking it up. So although you had a point to make, you really didn't know even where this was happening. And I would say you probably don't know if it's happening.
Norm, can you hear me?
I'm here.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
So who pushed who out where?
I don't know. Maybe I touched something accidentally. Oh, you're talking about going back to the conversation? Oh, yes. So,
AB, listen to the question. You say somebody pushed somebody out. Who, what, where, when? Who pushed who out? And when?
So, for example, there are a lot of Palestinians that live in the Golan Heights, right? Okay. However, there's been an increase of settlements there, and almost completely Israeli.
Okay. So this is so what village did they push somebody out and take their homes? Tell me.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying the areas, as in, it's split.
So you don't know. There's no village where they did this.
He said the Golan Heights. That is
what village in the Golan Heights did somebody push somebody out? Where in the Golan Heights? It's a pretty big. Huh? You don't know, right? Let's be honest.
No.
You don't know. Okay. I don't know, and you don't know.
Like around Hebron, I believe.
Hebron is not in the Golan Heights. You're not from the area, are you? You really don't know. You haven't got what? You don't have a clue what you're talking about, do you?
I said settlers. Wait, someone wants to. Oh, hot, man. Oh, my God. Sorry.
Oh, you're hot now. That's one of those diversionary tactics. Now you change the subject how hot you are.
Because I'm
yes. No, it's because you don't have an answer. Because you just talk some bubblemice a lie. Whoa, there she is. She's gone. Great. I'm the captain now. Isn't that something that you say, oh, the Jews are pushing somebody out? You say who, what, where, when, and suddenly it goes quiet.
No, how are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good. Well, you have 12 areas, I think, that the last time that I checked by the east of Jerusalem. I'm not sure of the exact names of the villages, but I think this is the most I don't know, most like the area with the highest conflicts kind of hostile environment.
Okay.
So you have east.
So what happened? Are you talking about Deir Yassin?
And mainly.
So we talk about that? Do we talk about what happened in Deir Yassin? Okay. So as far as I know, it was owned by a Jew, and the people who lived there hadn't paid their rent.
You're talking about Jarrah, صح?
I'm sorry, Sheikh Jarrah. My mistake. Sheikh Jarrah. Okay.
Yeah. I know about Sheikh Jarrah that it was actually leased and they didn't pay the rent and they wanted to claim it back. So this is justified. This is you can
So where did a Jew push somebody out?
Like you have different areas, like what she was referring to in some conflicts in the area of the
different areas. So let's go through them. All right. In the Golan Heights, where did somebody do this?
And east.
So which one do you want to start with? Golan Heights or East Jerusalem? Which one do you want to start?
12 provinces.
Let's start with. You said 12 already twice. Let's start with number one. Number one. Go ahead. Tell me the name of the place.
I don't know. I just said.
I don't know either.
I can look it up.
Okay, great. So why would you make a point and not even know what you're talking about? Don't you think there's like a bias there?
No. There's no bias there. There's no bias there.
There's no bias. So you made an accusation, but you really didn't know. So what's where did you hear about it?
12. I read about it.
Okay. You read about it where? What did you read? What did they say?
I read about the 12 provinces that have problems.
12 provinces.
Yes.
Okay, I'm listening. Wait, what? You think Israel has provinces?
No. Even to give you perspective, even when you refer to Sheikh Jarrah, I knew what happened with Sheikh Jarrah, and I knew.
But you don't know what happened when you talk about it. You said somebody took somebody's place. 12 places, but you can't name a single one. So why don't we start with the first one?
Do you want me to look it up and
No, I want you to. If you don't have a point, and now you're going to go Google it, it seems to me you didn't have a point in the first place, right?
But maybe that's not logical. Like you can.
It's not logical.
There's an area of conflict.
Okay,
like for example,
I'll tell you what. You want to. It sounds like you want to learn more about this.
I don't know the name of the.
If you don't know the name, then how could you make the claim?
Okay.
How could you make a claim if you don't know?
If
why would you believe it?
Is there a dispute that there are some areas in the south of Lebanon that's south of Syria that's occupied? We know that, but I don't know the name of the villages.
Wait a second. The Golan Heights have been annexed for security. We offered Syria peace. They attacked us. They lost. We took the land. We're not giving it back. Okay?
I'm not contesting this.
Then what are we talking about?
I'm just saying the logic of that. I don't know the name of the villages over there, but I know that something happened there. And
okay, something happened, but maybe we don't know what happened, so we got to find it out, right? let's not assume that somebody took something. You can't accuse somebody of something, but you don't know what they did. It's a little bit ridiculous.
I know what you mean. But let me ask you the question in a different way.
All right.
You think you think that all the conflicts that happen between the areas of conflicts or disputes for land between the Arabs and between the Israelis that led to having settlements, they were all wrong, and it was all the right of the Jews?
You have to show me the individual case. I can't make a judgment unless I know what we're talking about. You want me to make a global statement that Jews are always right? Nobody is always right. We're not God. We're just human beings.
Good. So okay, we have a middle ground here. So what we're saying is that conflicts and the settlements that keep like being increasing, it doesn't help or doesn't add any sort of a good faith or
it helps Israeli security, I would say.
On the longer term.
So Lee, I'm going to tell you something. There's two options here. Either the Palestinians stop killing Jews, or the Jews are going to do what we think is right. We don't have a peace deal, then we're not going to say you guys get to have a sovereign state. There's no reason for it. We're already there. Okay? We're not leaving and letting the Palestinians kill us. That would be stupid. That would be irresponsible. That wouldn't be responsible to our children. So as long as the Palestinians can't figure out whether they want peace or war, we're going to settle the land of historic Judea and Samaria. Now, if they want to make a peace deal, then we'll say, oh, well, maybe we'll leave. We left Gaza. It didn't work out so well when we left Gaza. Instead, we did something nice, which is leaving Gaza, and they use that as an opportunity to kill Jews. So the next time we make a deal, we may or may not trust them. I think they killed the idea of the two-state solution on October 7th. I can't think of anybody who wants to go back to that. Maybe, who knows, but I would say not. To me, it seems unlikely. So you can blame those Hamas guys for that if you want to. I don't say the settlers. I don't think the settlers are a problem. The settlers are mostly peaceful people. They just want to make businesses and make farms and settle the land.
I'm saying it is. I'm not saying. I hear what you're saying, and it's very logical, and we're on the same page.
Thank you.
And you know what's my background.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying is, from a political side of view, with playing politics. What I'm saying is that sometimes these acts, if we insist on doing them, even if I understand sometimes it needs to be done for security reasons, and this is justified. But what I'm saying is that on the long term, if you're trying to play politics, one way or another, that will lead to more conflicts and more kind of it will just inject and it will just inject that kind of vicious cycle even further. That's because we're you're just pushing, like you're not giving them they are stuck their backs are stuck behind the wall and they don't know what to do, and then they start going crazy.
I'll tell you what to do. They got to put the guns down and stop going crazy. That's what they should do. See how easy that was? How hard is that? You want to make peace? They're going to have a nice life. You want to make war? We're going to make war.
Let's go back to the point what you said when you guys left Gaza, because this is also another icky part. I understand it was a good thing.
Would you call it an icky part?
Yes. I'll tell you why it was an icky part, because.
What does icky mean? You mean like not good?
Yeah, not good, because it wasn't one way or another. The right wing was supporting and pushing pushing Hamas to get rid of Fatah and to basically divide and conquer, instead of having
that's politics. That's politics.
Yes, but instead of having a unified entity, you guys created a division between.
No, we didn't create. Hamas killed those people, not us. You can't blame us for that. Hamas murdered Fatah, so they have to wear that.
And they threw them from the roofs. We've seen the videos.
Okay, but very few people will acknowledge it. Don't blame Israel for Hamas's bad behavior. They have to take responsibility.
Politics. I understand, but that's politics. But that's politics, and we cannot deny that Israel had a hand in that.
You know what? It's irrelevant. You know what? The United States gives Hamas what? $500 million a year. You can blame the United States too. Iran gives them weapons. You can blame Iran too. Ultimately, they're responsible for their behavior.
Of course, and I blame because I blame the United States of creating that monster which is called Al Qaeda, and that bid them of.
Well, you know what? It's very easy to blame somebody, but they're responsible for their behavior. If they behave badly, that's their problem, not the problem of the United States. Yeah, we're very manipulative and we're world power, but we don't know how to deal with those people. So either they have two choices: either do the right thing, or else we're going to step in and pursue our interests, right? The interest, I think, of the whole world is peace and business, and they want to make a future for their kids. But if these people are going to do suicide bombing, then we're not going to have there's no deal to be made with people who do suicide bombs. If they want to kill themselves, then how are you going to make it? How are you going to negotiate with them? They're suicidal. That's not a sustainable thing. So it's unfortunately, they missed an opportunity for peace and prosperity, I think. Because nobody is going to be on their side anymore. Who are they going to deal with? Mahmoud Abbas? I mean, they hate him. The Palestinians hate this guy. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So if the Palestinians hate him, what good? Who are we going to negotiate with?
The monster that was created over there, which is Hamas. Huh? Then, unfortunately,
we're not going to negotiate with them.
That's the thing, that's what I'm saying. That's the icky part of it.
That may be icky, but we're not going to go with them.
Yeah, I understand, but what I'm trying to say is that there are some politics that needs to be played in this conflict one way or another. Because
would you make a deal with Yahya Sinwar? We're going to kill Yahya Sinwar. That's guaranteed. You see his life the other day. We're going to take this guy out. He's going to be held accountable. Of course,
he's a dead man walking now.
Correct, and he knows it now. It was very stupid what he did. Now he's begging for his life.
Yeah, I understand. But that's the thing that.
Who are we going to negotiate with? We're going to take those guys out. And then we're going to, look, somebody's going to take charge over there, whether it's the Saudis or you're Egyptian, right?
Yes.
So the Egyptians, and by the way, we know that the Egyptians were letting these weapons come through. We get it now. So I don't know why that everybody thinks that they can double deal and hurt us, but we're not going to trust people who double deal and hurt us. Why should we? So again, we tried the Western way of sort of make a deal. Let's make a stake. Let's go to Oslo. Let's do Gaza. And their response was kill, kill, kill. So if they want to go kill, 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 then we'll play kill, kill, kill. We can go in either direction. Israel has been there a long time now. And they're not going to kid themselves about how to deal with our enemies. Either we're going to deal with it diplomatically, or we're going to deal with it militarily. And in the meantime, the Jews are going to do what they feel is best for them, because they're not getting any offer on their side. So we're not going to let them do. It's not our ability anymore. If they want to make settlements in the West Bank, or Judea, Samaria, you know what? Maybe the Jews are going to settle Gaza too now. Why not? What's to stop us? What's the difference? If you're telling us settle Gaza, I mean, what's going to happen in Gaza, Nick? Why should we leave? What's it? Who's going to? What? So the U.S. will put it on. You think that's going to work? The United States and Israel are completely enmeshed now, very unlikely that suddenly we're going to get a divorce. If we get a divorce, we'll deal with it. We can split the baby, whatever.
I hear you, but again, I saying that some politics needs to play a part in solving that case. Like sometimes you have to resort to power, but then that's what's happening now. It's completely justified. But sometimes you
Well,
need to
thank you
resort
for
back and go
saying that.
with to politics.
I think politics is more fun, and the less people die. But you have to be dealing with people who are playing the same game as you. You can't play if two people have different rules.
Hopefully, there is a chance for the Gulf nations to interfere one way or another, and we try
Intervene.
to intervene. I mean, and try to I don't know to like give some kind of hope for the Abraham Accords to play a part in this. I don't know. Like now, it's very hard.
They're already doing it. They're already doing it. Yes, this is the Gulf nations understand. They want to think about the future. They don't want to lose power. Those monarchies do not want to lose their family heritage. So good for them. What they need to make constitutions now so that they can resist the influence of the Shia. The Shia, I don't know how you feel about them, but I can tell you that the Gulf guys don't love them, right? Because they're trying to, they're very manipulative, and they try to make revolutions in their countries, and the Gulf guys do not appreciate that, right?
Yeah, and if Iran ever got any nuclear power, it will be a threat for the whole region.
Absolutely. It's interesting you understand this, and a lot of people like American leftists, or I don't even know what they are. There's a lot of people, they don't care. They think, oh, they actually hate the United States. These are people who will bring disaster on themselves. They will suffer for not supporting the United States and trying to sort of create a Pax Americana. Pax Americana.
No, it's just the idea is that like eventually a full scale kind of escalation needs to happen, because this is the medicine, that this is the ugly truth that it needs to
full
be
scale escalation.
Yes, with Iran, definitely. Iran needs.
Well, I don't disagree with you. We're like, wait, the problems is not beating them, in my humble opinion. The problem is what happens next. Who's going to run the show over there? And what we saw in Iraq is we created a big mess, as far as I can see.
Yeah,
we made a mess. And that was stupid. What's his name? George W. Bush.
Yeah. And even Afghanistan is still a mess. It's back to Taliban.
Say it again. I lost my signal.
No, even Afghanistan was a mess. It's back to Taliban now, after 20 years.
Well, so we started off going after the Taliban because of their support for Osama bin Laden. So that was our justification. And then after that, we were like, okay, well, we're going to make them a nice society. And the truth is, you can't make them a nice society, because they're going to make the society they want, whatever it is. I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe you don't either. I don't know what goes on in Afghanistan. It's a different situation in that, right? It's like a different place. But do you know anybody who's even been to Afghanistan?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Do you?
I do, but I cannot claim that I'm an expert of what's happening in Afghanistan. But I understand what you mean. I don't know what's happening over there.
Who did you know that went to Afghanistan? For diplomatic matters, or
Hamid Karzai? Hamid Karzai, the president.
Of course.
His granddaughter was my colleague in university, like a very good friend of mine.
So you're a high level guy.
No, not a high level guy. But
Yes,
actually,
you
now
are.
she's.
If you went to school with Tommy Karzai's granddaughter, then you went to a good school. You went to a good school, they checked you out, and that means you're a big shot.
No, not really.
You're the Geneva guy, right?
No. It's a university in Dubai. Went to the American University in Dubai.
I go to Dubai. I'm saying you're in Geneva now. You work in Geneva now?
No. She works in Geneva now, not me.
Uh-huh.
She's actually now she's speaking on behalf of the former Afghani government. Because she fled, of course. Taliban is in power now, so she had to flee Afghanistan. All her family had to flee Afghanistan. So she's like a social activist now, and she's trying to. I don't know. It's a mess. Like honestly, I don't understand exactly what's happening, but it was sad, and the situation was very fucked up, and they had to flee Afghanistan after the Taliban took power, and again, as you're saying, it's Iraq and Afghanistan was we took out the powers over there, but they recreated themselves. That's the problem. So Iran might be the same case.
Yeah, what happens after we can bomb a country, but then what happens next? That we don't know so much,
Yeah.
Like the country, they on the one hand, they get taken over by these bad forces, evil forces like Khomeini. But on the other hand, somebody like Khomeini knows a lot more about how to manage the country than George W. Bush or Joe Biden or certainly Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to make a deal with whoever's going to make a deal with him. And he's going to move on. He's not going to worry about women's rights. He's not going to worry about gay, lesbian, and abortion like Hillary. He's going to say, listen, stop fighting, make a deal, goodbye. Because this whole idealism that America can kind of civilize the world or pacify the world, it's hubris. You know this word? It's arrogance. It's delusional.
Delusional.
So, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get things settled, whoever's in charge. We don't love the monarchs. We don't love like MBZ and MBS and all those guys, but they're in charge, so we make a deal with them. It's not our problem that they run their societies. Do you see what Joe Biden did trying to undermine? Isn't it MBS? Who's the crown prince of Saudi? Of Saudi, yeah, and of UAE, it's MBZ.
Mohammed bin Zayed, yes.
That's so funny, the MBS and MBZ. So Joe Biden makes a big stink about what he did to Khashoggi to embarrass them. So they hate him. Why did he do that? I'll tell you why he did that, because he still wanted to make a deal with Iran. So this stupid guy trying to make a deal with Iran, this Joe Biden, it's not going to work. We can't make a deal with Iran. We tried it. It's a failure, So now we're left. We have left with like begging Israel to stop fighting with the Palestinians, so that Joe Biden can maybe get the Nobel Peace Prize, or at least go out and say, I brought peace to these guys. Could you, Samia and Lee, could you talk for a second? I'm having an omelet here. I want to have my little food.
Sure, I don't know what the topic. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Leah. Hi, everyone.
I just wanted to know what ran Mortafool out of the room. He was talking about how he was being debriefed by the Knesset and so on and so on.
He got busy. So the thing we're talking about, Samia, is Lee wants to know if making the settlements is making it more peaceful or making it more more belligerent. I said, listen, we're going to keep settling the area until they make us a nice peace deal. Otherwise, there's no reason for us to stop. It makes us feel more secure. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm going to.
No worries. I had a question regarding the settlements as well, too, because the people that are in America and like all these, young kids that are protesting against anti-war, and I'm anti-war as well too, right? But there has been an increase of hate crimes, right? So my question is that
they're not anti-war, they're anti-Jew.
Some of them are, yes. I wouldn't say all, but normal. My question though is if it becomes unsafe for Jewish people that live in America, like you, El Normal, or everywhere else in the world, wouldn't they go to Israel then? And then wouldn't it cause more expansion? Because then you would have more Jewish people moving there. Wouldn't that be a reaction to that?
To me, they're not thinking logically like you. All they think about is destruction. There's no beautiful future at the end of their thought process. They just want to hurt us, and they want to hurt themselves, and they want to hurt America. Death to America. That's what they want. They say it.
And
Right.
it's not necessarily that Jewish people will go back there just because of that, because the diaspora is a longer-lived thing than Jewish people living in the state of Israel. There's been more people living out of Israel for longer than there has been living in it. The majority of Jews. And so, like, a lot of people here, because I live in a community, and some section of the community is like modern Orthodox. And so a lot of those people go to Israel, but then a lot of the people come right on back. So you have a lot of people who don't want to get involved in having their kids have mandatory military conscriptions. And then also, like, the standard of living is like a little bit lower. So that's not going to be, it'll take a lot to chase all of the Jewish people out of like any one place, especially the United States.
Right, I agree. I can see what that means, but yeah, it's a bit confusing because you see they think that they're anti-war, which was what I was saying. Ben was saying in the chat, like most people, well, unless you're a sadistic person, I think most people would be anti-war because it's very destructive, right? And well, let me ask you guys a question because this is something
But
that comes
they're not
up.
asking for peace, Princess.
No, I'm talking about.
Saying, I know, but like in the protests right now, they're not saying we want peace with Israel, get rid of Hamas, free the hostages, we want peace. They don't say that in the protest. Do you hear them say that?
No, I mean, what I mean by anti-war is like a war never even starting to begin with to even ask for peace, if that makes sense, right? So that's way.
Sure, but now we're in a war.
Right, and that's my point.
We want peace. Like in the '60s, for example, during Vietnam, there's like, give peace a chance, right? We want peace, give us peace. What do you hear in the protest today?
Yeah, they're
in the anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorism, pro-jihad is what you hear. River to the sea, death to Israel, burn the flag, genocide. You don't hear, give peace a chance, and we want peace. Give us peace. We just want peace, please. Can we live side by side as neighbors?
I agree with you.
You don't hear that.
Well, the best way
That's a very good point.
Right, the best way to stop war is to stop the conditions that start the war to begin with. So you stop it before it starts. That's the key.
But it already started, though. The baby's born. It already started.
And what do you mean by stop the conditions? Or that she said, what do you mean by stop the conditions to start?
Yeah, so if there is okay, you guys would understand the Israeli situation. So if they were to able to create some kind of deal that would satisfy both sides, that would have stopped the war from even happening. But the failure of doing that is what led to this. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so
Princess.
It was
like in the beginning,
it's too late.
like during the partition plan from the British in the in the 40s when they were offering them one state for the Jewish people and one for the Arabs, and then they gave most of it to the Arabs with Jordan, and they said, oh no, we're gonna only give a little bit of this to the Jews and a little bit for the Arabs, and the Jews said, okay, fine, we're gonna take this little bit, but the Arabs still said no, and then they started the war. So like even if given the conditions of being neighbors, these Arabs, they didn't want to be our neighbor. They don't want to live in peace next to us.
And that's a fact. And I tell you exactly who documented that is a woman named Noah Tishby. She actually wrote a book about, I think, called Israel, the most misunderstood country on the earth. And she actually detailed all of the times.
Should I read that?
I think you should. I think it's worth it.
Really good. It's really good, Norm. You know what she says? She says that we need to listen to them. In that book, she says specifically, all we have to do is listen. They're telling us they don't want to be neighbors. You never hear that from them. You don't hear that to be fair about it, they don't even want a two-state solution.
Well,
it is true. And people have offered them, like, it's been like a half a dozen times people have made offers to them. And then another important thing is none of them would consider a part of this agreement that says end of negotiations. Okay, once we finish coming up with this topic, this topic is not open for discussion anymore. Nobody has ever been willing to accept end of negotiations as part of these negotiations, no matter how much land Jewish people concede. That's one. And then point number two, if you take it away from the Israel bit for a little while, the Arabs have like a really hard time managing states. I mean, you see Syria has been going on for like years and years, and nobody even knows what's for. So it's like, when are they not at each other's throats? So it might be the fact that they're at Jewish people's throats is just coincidence, because if there were no Jewish people there, they would be at each other's throats. Because trying to live in like a calm atmosphere is just not something that they like.
It's really, you know what it is. I think I think that they're at the Jewish people's throat and blaming everything on the Jewish people. To actually, it's like a magician trick. Don't look at what's happening in my left hand. Don't look at what's happening inside my country. Look at the Jews. Look at what the Jewish people are doing. Look at what's happening in Israel. Look at Israel. They're not saying, hey, look, Egypt is a failed state. Jordan is a failed state. Syria is in shambles. Iraq is, war torn and in pieces. Oh, Lebanon, by the way, it used to be the Christian country in the Middle East, but by the way, now it's run by Islamists. And Hezbollah. It's Hezbollah land now. It's Hezbollistan is what Lebanon has become. So they're saying, no, don't look over here. It's definitely what's happening in Gaza.
No, but
it's definitely what's happening in Gaza. The Gazans, it's definitely that. Don't look over here and see what's happening in Egypt. Egypt is letting all the weapons come through. Egypt has already broken the peace deal. I don't know if you guys realize this, but Egypt has broken the peace accords, and Egypt is only being propped up by the United States and Israel. And without the United States and Israel, Egypt goes to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Right, but these groups, right? They're very, very, very difficult to fight, right? Because if you're seeing that Israel, which has the advanced army, which has the Iron Dome, which has all these advancements, in terms of like their army and are powerful, if they are having a hard time resisting these groups like Hamas, you could understand why all the other countries have a hard time as well too. So countries that have an undeveloped government.
That's not a very good excuse, though.
It's not excuse. I'm saying something.
I'm Israeli, and I was in the army. What do you think? Do you know why we have difficulties with the Hamas? No. Listen to me. You know what we?
Okay, because I'm a mod.
Don't yell over.
Yeah, it's like I'm a mod. If we can't have a respectful conversation, this is why I had an issue with the last.
What was the name of the guy?
Named Swifty, and he wants to share from an army perspective, which I don't mind hearing. But if you can't have a respectful conversation, I don't care if you're Jew, Muslim, whatever, you're gonna get kicked out. Okay,
Swifty,
so
sit down there for a little bit in the audience, and then maybe Samir will say you can come back, but don't interrupt. Okay.
Thank you. So the reason I'm saying that is, and I'll give you an example of my country, Somalia, right? It's a government that's undeveloped. It's a country that was in war for a long time. And then now you have this group, Al-Shabaab, being funded by foreign countries, or even maybe some Somalis funding them too, probably. And they're having a hard time being able to resist them, right? So the reason I'm trying to explain to you is it really is hard to resist these types of groups. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, I think I was making a point regarding that. Yep.
Well, in reference to that, to be fair about it, I can appreciate that they have their trouble in their country. Now, when they're bringing their trouble to our backyard, or they want to be our neighbor, if they want to live in peace, there's a different story. Because we don't really, inside Israel, what does it say? Oh, shut up. Is that for me to shut up?
No, not you. Him in the comments. He's making arguments that we all hate Jews. Not you, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying, listen, inside Israel, 20% of the Israeli population, Israeli citizens, are Muslim Arabs, and they're living in peace, pretty good. And in fact, the quality of life of Arabs living in the Middle East, or living in any country, maybe other than the United States, have a better quality of life living inside Israel as Israeli citizens. And to be fair about it, you don't hear a lot of them complaining about how terrible their life is living in Israel when they have equal rights in Israel.
And that's true. And also a survey.
Be part of government.
A survey said that 90% of them say they do not want to be part of any future Palestinian state.
So, I mean, I can appreciate that these other countries are having problems. When they're going to bring it to our doorstep and when they're going to attack us, then we're going to have to fight back. And then it's exactly what I was saying. Don't look at what's happening in Somalia or Yemen is a very good example. Yemen is a completely destroyed by civil war and by Yemens fighting Yemens and Muslims killing Muslims. Okay. But no, as soon as this thing kicks off in with Gaza, they want to be in war. They want to be in war with the whole world. They're going to block the Red Sea. They're going to block the Suez Canal. They're going to shoot at merchant ships. They're going to affect world trade. They live in a wasteland in stones. They want to make it better for their people. Stop, attacking. Literally, all they have to do is stop fighting.
Right.
That's it. And as far as the Iron Dome goes, I'm going to be quiet right after this because I talked a lot.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, as far as the so-called Palestinians or the Gazans or the Jordanians living in Judea and Samaria that had their citizenship revoked in the 90s, okay? They don't have an advanced army. They don't have Iron Dome. Guess what their Iron Dome is? Their Iron Dome is don't shoot missiles at Israel and you're not going to get missiles shot at you. Okay? Their Iron Dome, they don't need to have an army. If they aren't going to fight us, they don't need to have an army. Okay? That's it. We're not attacking them for no reason. Okay? It's a defensive war. And by the rules of armed conflict, when you are attacked and you are defending yourself and you win, you get to keep the land. The land for peace that we've done before, and we touched base on this a few minutes ago, we touched base on it. We give up land, we try to get peace out of that. But the real land for peace is, we win that war, we take the land, and we let us have peace. Okay, so I think there's only going to be peace when we resettle into the areas in which are part of Israel, which is in Gaza and all of the biblical homeland in Judea and Samaria. And if they can live there in peace, if they can live there as our neighbors, as it says in the Declaration of Independence of Israel, that we welcome all of those to live in this land who want to live here in peace, then we can have a peaceful existence together. But anyway, with that, I want to just rest my voice because I don't want to overtake the whole combo. And hi, Al Norma.
He's eating food, but he said that he could hear you. Well, no, he didn't say that. He said he's eating, so he's going to be gone for a while. But yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's really complicated. I thought the situation with Yemen was a Saudi Arabia phenomenon, right? I could be wrong.
Well, they had a civil war, and they started attacking. Really, it's Iran, like you were talking about with foreign influence. And the foreign influence in Yemen started wars between Yemen and Saudi Arabia when they were attacking the oil fields in Saudi Arabia. So, and then the Yemeni people, they have a conflict between them, which is half of them want to be not at war with Saudi Arabia or not at war, and then half of them are the Iranian proxies, which are taking over the Houthis, basically, the Houthi. And now they're a very well-armed army that has ballistic missiles and all kinds of drones and technology that's, being supported by Iran to affect, this area. And primarily from a strategic standpoint is that they're right in the Straits of Hormuz and the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, so they can affect worldwide shipping and worldwide, influence.
And also the Iranians, they're not Arab, they're Persian, as they'll tell you every 5 minutes. So if they can see Arabs like weak and divided and fighting each other, okay, then that works out best for both of them. Because if Arabs had any common enemy, it would be like Iran, probably just as quick as it would be Israel.
Right. Yeah. They hate the. I think they lost the war to the Arab countries in the past or something, but they have their own.
No,
empire,
it's
right?
deeper than that.
Oh.
It's much deeper than that. Okay, Iran has been with us for a very long time. Okay, even if you look back, like in the Book of Esther. Okay, that was during the time when it was the Persian Empire. Okay, and these guys were like able to read, and they had like a civilization way before the Arabs did. Because remember, the Arabs were a subject people for something like 20 centuries or something like that. And so, the Persians, they aren't that, and they had a civilization before, and then you have like new upstart Arabs that are going to like eclipse them. And they don't speak the same language either. These languages have nothing to do with each other. And so they see themselves as like, we used to be a regional power long ago, and they remember that even from all of those thousands of years ago. And so that's another factor.
Yeah, that's a major factor, and the relationships between Iran. Leo, do you know there's a king. I didn't know about this, but there's a king, sorry, they call Shah. His son is in America. Did you know that? And he's very pro-Israeli. You ever heard of him?
It might be one of the kids. What, Reza Pahlavi? Some of his descendants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that would make sense. And okay, the when the Shah of Iran fell, okay, that's a different issue too. Okay, it's true that they were like pro-Western because that's who supported them. But how do you say? It's many dozens of different ethnic groups in Iran too. That's another thing. It's like 35 different languages spoken there. And so the one thing that they believed in, all of them, was the Shah, even though they all hated each other. And so then you got another thing, because when like Khomeini and those guys took over, okay, then you don't have the positive symbol of the Shah to help unify these people that hate each other. And so what do you do in that case? So an external enemy is very helpful in that case.
Yeah, sorry. I think someone wanted to come up and I pressed. If anyone else wants to come up, just put your hand up.
So that's a good argument. Yeah, there was actually a very interesting. I remember I was in a room with you. It was very fascinating. There was, Dr. Cornel West, right? Before he said he was going to run in America, he was on Dr. Glenn Lowry's show. And he said something interesting. The Palestinian people, he said, are fighting for dignity, and the Israeli people are fighting for security, right? Because, I mean, it's totally normal for people to want to live in a society where they're not scared of being, murdered at a,
But Princess Ivy, how can you lump the Palestinian...
One moment, Adrian, and then I'll let you talk. You go right after. Yeah, anyways, y'all stop there. You can go ahead, Adrian. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, when you say the Palestinian people are fighting for dignity, it's not the whole Palestinian people, as in the entire population.
I'll put the video in the chat.
Well, that's fine, but you're repeating his sentiment. And the fact is, there is a faction of terrorists.
So think about it. So tell me what you think about it, yeah.
There is a faction of terrorists within the Palestinian population that are Islamist psychopaths. And they want to control, dominate, murder, and be a caliphate.
And so they see themselves as like, we used to be a regional.
Yeah, that's why I was repeating what he said. But that doesn't go against what he said. You guys want security because you're scared.
It does go against what I said. Listen, you are lumping in the Palestinians with the Hamas terrorists.
Okay, yeah. So I hear what you're saying, and that is wrong for. I don't. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put the video in the chat so you guys see what I'm talking about. Yeah. But he was arguing that. Huh? Sorry. Normal. Did you say something? Yeah. So, but Adrian, okay, perhaps he said the wrong thing about Palestinians, right? But Israelis, I'm saying, are they fighting for security? Are they fighting for not wanting to deal with violence? That's
Duh. It's called justice and the law. When people on October 7th killed 2,000 people indiscriminately, they have to pay a price. That price is the law. Now they will be killed. It's called justice. Have you heard of it?
No, long before October 7th, I'm saying there's always been the fear of security, right? This is why they always had police or security present, right?
Okay, I read a book by Golda Meir. It was called My Life, and a lot of it was dealing with when the state of Israel was being founded, because she was like a key player in that. Golda Meir, she was there, she saw all of that, and some of the issues was something like this. She said, we don't have any place else to go except for here, except for being pushed into the sea. So she said, our only option at this point is to win the war. So that's just what we did. We won the war. So, they're very aware of what this could be, because a lot of people are still alive who were, or some number of people who from those founding days. And so they know that there's no place else for them to go except to the sea. And so then a war has to be won.
Who's saying this, Leah?
Golda Meir, and she was, I think, the first prime minister of Israel, and she wrote an autobiography called My Life, where she detailed the events around the founding of Israel as well as a couple of the wars that they had. I read that, Lee. I think I gave it 5 stars. In fact, I'm sure I gave it 5 stars. Let me just see if I can find a review, and then maybe the review will be better than reading the whole book because it's not the newest.
Because I do know Netanyahu's brother was involved in what do you call it? Playing hostage. Yes, exactly. In Uganda. Yeah, he's lost his life. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, there was also a bunch of. That was what I wanted to share. Like when groups of people don't want to get along in the same country, what can happen is they expel. So what happened was they expelled a bunch of Indian people from. I don't know. It's where Rishi Sunak's family's from. I don't know if it's Burundi or Uganda. I can't quite remember. But
they threw a lot of Indians out of Uganda. They threw a lot of them out of Uganda. Rishi Sunak is Indian.
Indian, no.
But it's a lot of Indians. There's a lot of Indians in Uganda.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But 300,000 of them were expelled. If I'm saying that word right. And his family was one of them. And the leader of that country did an interview with him. He also is a raging anti-Semitic and said Hitler didn't do enough or something like that. So I don't know. There's kind of some.
Like, you mean Idi Amin? Idi Amin, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right? When they asked.
Right, I know. He did what a lot of what he did, and he threw all these Indians out, and they were the ones that were like the productive section of the society. So I think at some point they even invited them back. But Idi Amin was like a thuggish clown. He was an idiot. So I mean, he chased out all the Indians, okay, and then same way Robert Mugabe tried to chase out all the white people, and they reaped exactly what they sowed, which is to be presiding over a hellhole. Samaya, Hessen Haas Incorporated, Princess Ivy. You have these Somali Muslims that come in your room that you immediately kick out. What do you think the solution is for the Middle East in terms of Muslim men that are Islamists and extreme Muslims?
They're not extremist people. What they do is there's people that have annoying personalities like you who are just or gender or anything. You don't have to be rude. And so they were being very rude to the black rabbi that was here earlier. They were being rude to Mr. Musab as well too. That's why I have to be black. Well, in all fairness, though. And I'm the mod. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but in all fairness, like Mortafool, the one that would just call himself like the black rabbi, he has like the IQ of like a boot full of Ukrainian goat piss, and he likes to make so many outlandish claims that he like brings out the worst in people talking about. I've been briefed by the Israeli Smith, and this fool doesn't even speak Hebrew. Another one of his claims is that he's the chief rabbi of black people in North America, and he is so like he's as close as you could be to being retarded and still live alone. Okay, so he does not have the intellectual qualifications to be chief rabbi of anybody, number one. And number two, if he is the chief rabbi of black Jewish people of North America, where was my turn to vote? I didn't get a vote. So, he does that. But don't you know that he's above you? I mean, what kind of a person makes a claim, I am above you, I am above? Like, he's got a mental health disorder, and I think his religiosity is his salvation, but it's also basically the source of his neurosis. I mean, he can't let it go when he says the Americans are taking over. He thinks he's going to be some type of political religious leader. He's delusional in many ways, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's a creation of the European colonization, right? Like it's a combination.
A creation. The guy flew over there and started LARPing being an Orthodox Jew. He's from fucking Brooklyn. It's true, and he was a Muslim. He was a Muslim earlier in his life. He was a Muslim, and he just converted like about 8 years ago, is what I would say. Okay, and then I'll tell you another thing. Since we're here, we're talking about this. Okay, if somebody is like a rabbi, okay, it doesn't mean that they are a rabbi who can pontificate on every single issue. When people are trained as rabbis, they're trained in a specific and limited thing. So he has like an ordination, and the word is like smicha, from like a little rinky-dink place called Pirkei Shoshanim, and they print them up in the same way that you print up like, flyers for like some type of event, okay? So if you have like an ordination from there, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the sharpest pencil in the box, as you can see from conversations with him.
Okay, and so his issue is trying to like co-opt some issue. I think Adrian used the word LARPing. That's like a good word. His issue is trying to like co-opt some issue of some type as a vehicle for influence. So he started out like, and he converted, and he lived among like mainstream Jewish people. He lived among Haredim. Okay, and so they told him, we got other rabbis here, and we're not going to let you come here and take this over. We have other people that we respect. Sit your ass down somewhere. You can study here, but you can't take it over. All right. Then the next thing was, I guess he decided he's going to try to work with like Hebrew Israelites, okay, and try and like be a figure, some influence among them. All right. Now the latest thing is he's has political power in Israel and blah blah blah, and he's in the know and so on and so on. So I mean, he is nuts. He is batshit insane, and so he brings out a lot of anger at people. You know, it was a video of another guy, Ariel Payne, who followed him around with a camera, said, "Hey, you're the chief black rabbi, and he asked him enough questions to finally where Mordecai cursed him and told him he was a nigger and all of that stuff like that, because you see what you're working with."
Well, I've heard a rabbi say that, if you present as holy and you still get angry and you scream at people, you are not holy. You're not a holy person. So to me, the religion should help do anger management, meaning that it should give you an equilibrium. But to come on this app and scream at people, and especially say I'm above you, my character is better, all these things is very childish and petty, and it's almost like he misses the message, which is, give respect, get respect. I mean, if you want to educate, that's fine. Like, support those that support Torah. You can be Jewish all you want. I think Israel's a republic. So I think it's a Jewish republic. And so if anybody around the world wants to LARP and say, hey, guess what? I'm Jewish. Well, that's your right. That's your will. You can do what you want to do. So mazel tov to him and l'chaim to him. I'm just saying that, in terms of shtick or branding and marketing, okay, great. He's the black rabbi. Well, Nissan Black is the black cantor. Mazel tov. Okay, cool, guys. But are you guys really happy? What are you guys really doing with your life? Are you just trying to generate online income? Do you have a job? What do you really do? I mean, I know he has no job anywhere. I've never known him to have a job. Well, I know he says he has this big corporate background and the State Department hired him. Whatever. I don't really care. It's not like I'm going to submit to him and say, please teach me, Rabbi. Rabbi, I got problems in my life. I need you to help me work things. What's he going to do? He's just another guy. Go read a book.
Adrian, are you talking about the black rabbi, the one on Clubhouse?
Yeah, Mordecai. Who else?
Yeah, Black Rabbi Mordecai. I mean, he is who he is. He's in my opinion, he's an actor. And I say mazel tov. Well, he's got a thing going.
One moment, Adrian. So, hold on. This room Leah saw that there was something that was shared by someone saying black rabbi. Are you referring to that person? Because he was here just a few...
Yes, and...
That's the one. I deleted it. I don't want... Yeah, I don't want him to have any type of platform. And it's like, the LARP, okay. Well, that's it. I mean, I don't even have words, man. That's exactly what it is. A bunch of LARP.
No, what he was sharing was that he does a charity work in Somalia, and he was saying how we opened schools and we did this. And so the people in the room that were Somali were just basically attacking him. And I'm just like, if someone's just sharing that they did charity work, because this is... But
he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Okay,
I didn't. Okay, now I know.
He has a habit of lying. Okay, lying about being the chief rabbi of black people in America when it was no election held. Okay, and nobody ever gave him that title. That exists nowhere except in his mind. All right, and so another thing is if he wants to live around Haredi people, like black hat people, like the ones that you imagine from Fiddler and the Roof. But the thing is, he can't get respect among them because, okay, number one is scholarship, and number two, he doesn't have any kids. He's not raising a family. He's not helping anybody. So in the sense that the guy Nissan Black has 7 or 8 kids. Okay, he's doing a lot more because he's actually raising his own kids, and people who live in those Haredi communities are more likely to see that they have something in common with him because he's taking care of raising kids.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering why people were attacking him. I had no information about him.
He's not the worst guy in the world, though. I mean, he is kind of funny, or at least somewhat nice sometimes.
Right, but when someone shares it in charity, right? We're not the way we're taught Islamically. You're not supposed to just first of all, you shouldn't share it. But if someone shares it, just say, oh, okay, you don't question it, you don't, I like, you know what I mean? That's between him and God. Like I didn't, that's why I felt uncomfortable. That's why I booted some people out of the room because they were attacking him on the fact that he was sharing that he did charity.
Listen, there's something about Judaism which is not just religious; it's political. And the crazy thing about group dynamics in psychology is, uh, you might have these two groups that oppose each other, like the Palestinians and the Israelis. But within Israel, you have group on group on group, and within the Palestinians, you have group on group on group, and you can see that in a room where two Jews start going at it or two Muslims start going at it. So you can see that technically it's like a human to human problem, regardless of how you present or what information you're sharing. There is something within group dynamics that is inescapable. And so I'm just trying to point out that whatever Mordecai is doing is he's political primarily, and that's what most people are doing. They're not really sincere academics or religious people. They're actually just political, and I think that's true for myself and true for you and true for everybody. But it's a question of how much of a hypocrite do you want to be?
Right, and you know what? Going back to, because earlier in the room where we were talking about South Africa, right, and Mandela, like they're using Gandhi's idea, right, and there is an aspect, which is why some people are saying that there needs to be a non-violence push in the Middle East.
Yeah, the Americans went through this in the 1960s when there was a peace movement in this country. There is no peace movement amongst these Islamists because they base their religion off of Islamic militancy, which is at the root problem of all violence, which is extremist, violent interpretation of the wisdom of God. It's a reversal of do no harm, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. I mean, you don't go kill your neighbor. You try to love your neighbor so you can love yourself.
Right, but what I'm saying is the non-violent spirit that took place, that Mandela did, he could have been like the other guy we were talking about, Uganda. He could have expelled people.
You can say that he was nonviolent, but I've heard things saying that he was involved in terrorist attacks.
No, before he went to jail. So when he went to jail, he came back out, and then that's when he did the non-violent. Because look, he stopped the Civil War. If he wanted to, he could have done a civil war, slaughtered all the white people. And
Are you sure about that?
Whoever. Well, did it happen?
No, not so sure. Not so sure because okay, look, they have they took care of the infrastructure of the country. Number one. Number two, okay, it's two groups of white people there. It's English people and it's Afrikaners. The Afrikaners have been there for like about 400 or 500 years, okay, and they live in the same way as other Africans do. So they've had like wars, and it was just them fighting like either each other or fighting some other group of these Africans. So if they thought they were going to just like slaughter them very easily, they've been there for many centuries. Where else are they going to go? Number one, and number two, they're used to like this African way of life with a whole bunch of violence and fighting. They would probably respond in kind because the whites who leave the country more often because they don't see any future is almost always English people. It's the Afrikaners who stick it out.
I'm just saying when it comes to historical narratives, whenever I hear somebody say anything, I'm always just like, maybe the opposite is true.
Agreed.
I mean, we can hold up all these great historical men, and really analyze it. And then at the end, they always end up sleeping in rooms with all these young girls, like Mahatma Gandhi or any other religious guru cult. It always ends up being sex magic.
Well, I mean, that's the purpose of gaining all that much influence among those people is like this crotch. And I mean, it happens like in like these Orthodox circles. These guys get in like positions like it was a time where they had a guy who thought he was going to make the strictest conversion court in the whole country. This guy's name was Leib Tropper. Okay. And he got caught trying to set up a threesome with a conversion candidate. And he's like, who do you want to do the threesome with? You want to do it with me and my wife, or you want me to do it with me and this other samurai guy? And he did this so many times that he actually got recorded on tape. And then somebody publicized the tape. And it's like, well, you do know that the purpose of setting up like all of this infrastructure and having all these people around you is so that you could have preferred access to loans. So, it's not uncommon in this. I don't know if I can say that it's bad because it's a sociological cliche at this point. King, MLK, he liked the white ladies, and he's supposed to have had like several extramarital affairs. Somebody suggested that it was a white lady he was interested in, and he could never marry her. He dated her during college or something, and that the whole nonviolence movement and the dream about little black boys and white girls going to school together, that was acting out the frustration of his not being able to have the one that he wanted. Interesting thought. Now,
that's a good thing. And you know what? I was talking about it in Lonzo's room as well too, because like we always talk about like coons, right? Coons, a person who's black who loves white people, right? But I'm just like, how many like, what about white coons? What about people who made decisions, right, based off of their like, love for the black race, like that? There's documented situations like that too, where there are people who love their slaves, so they, at the time, I'm talking about during slavery time. You get what I'm saying? Or like, actually, that's interesting what you said. So that would mean why Martin Luther King took the nonviolent route, and Malcolm X had more but he dated white girls too. But I guess he still hated white people. I guess.
No, he liked the white ladies too. He dated white girls, and if you believe Manning Marable wrote a book saying he also dated white boys too. He had like some relationship with like an older white man. Okay, Manning Marable, he wrote that in his book, and so okay, that's one. But I mean, okay, it's been like black people and white people marrying each other for like a very long time. In the United States, it's something like, I think, average black person has 17% European ancestry, and a lot of it was voluntary, and a lot of it happened after the slave time. And I'm sitting here with a book on the floor of my car called Black Men, White Women. It's where a historian traces interracial marriage in the United States all the way back to the 1600s. So, make a long story short, like, black and white people for various reasons have been like destroying each other's tender bits for a long time and producing kids. And that's how you got like tens of millions of black people with white ancestry. It didn't all happen. So when you talk about like, I know it's not, I live 2 miles away from Detroit, right? And it's white people that come and choose to live around and marry black people, and it's just a thing. And they just do it because that's what they like. I mean, I got like a girl I went to school with. She has several generations of mixed race people from her body. I work with a guy. He has 6 kids in between 6 women, and all the women are black. And he's a white guy with about 8 teeth.
No, the thing, what I'm saying though is that they found that a lot of the people who talk about like the woke people that you see in America. I don't really like the word woke, but let's just say the woke, right, in America, right? When you see
this man does something crazy. As you can see, he is preparing to throw a GoPro stick as a big plane is about to fly by, and the end result is magnificent. He times the throw perfectly. Just look.
So that means her own spouse, who's a white male, can't come to the party. Now, why? Like, people think that they're like social. They only make fun of the person that is sorry.
Many people say that 10 was a scam, but today I bought their claimed $0 watch. At first glance, the watch is well built and comes with a magnetic charger that easily clicks into the back.
Okay, and so I don't know what you could be saying. So I don't worry about it. I know I made my choice to live here, like around Jewish people, and I don't think I regret the choice, not even for 1 second. So if I'm a coon, then so be it.
No, I'm talking cool more of a bigger sense. So like, not just dating is one of them. Yes, that's an important one.
There's
like Mandela, right?
you do realize there's no such thing as a coon, right? I mean, it's a stupid word. It doesn't mean anything. It comes from a raccoon. People aren't coons. So when you use it, you degrade yourself and you degrade people who use that stupid word. I mean, it's a stupid word. You should just stop even using it.
No, I'm not the one. Like, I'm just using it for the conversation. I don't use it in real life. But what I'm saying is like, there are.
Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't real life.
Haters. Oh, I know it's real life. Adrian, you're getting annoying again. So self haters, right? Are people who hate themselves, right? And what they're arguing is society teaches them to hate themselves, right? So if that person hates themselves because society taught them to, why are you then being cruel to them? Because they were taught to hate themselves. So shouldn't people be compassionate to them rather than hating them?
No, it's not a question of being taught to. It's not a question of being taught to hate yourself. It's more like this. You look up some statistics, okay? In fact, I got them right here at the tip of my fingers. Okay, and you are. Let's look them up. I wrote them down. Hold on, just a second.
Cass, where are you? Okay, you look at the stats for like the stats for like for black people are not good at all. Okay, so I just wrote down a few of them here because I was reviewing a book. Okay, and it was something like 12.2% of the population as of 2019. Okay, 26.6% of total arrests, 51.2% of murder arrests, 52.7% of robberies, 28.8% of burglary, 28.6% of motor vehicle thefts, 42.2% of prostitution.
It's very important critical work.
Well, brother, we gotta allow time to tell that tale, right? Respectfully, there are partnerships throughout history that has led to the emergence of powerful states. Germany is a prime example. Germany didn't always exist. They was the fucking Confederation of the Rhine, right? Yeah. And then gradually but surely, I think it was Austria that erected the state. You know, and through a series of little small conflicts, they built up a competent military, and next thing you know, they're pursuing hegemony in Western Europe. Pretty much all of them.
I see where
Right. So basically, when two superpowers are at odds, right, in an attempt to undermine each other, okay, they tend to redraw maps. Hey, we want to recognize this, we want to recognize that. So right now, the Russians are essentially, redrawing the map. They're changing the regime. True. And as they change the regime, this is essentially an opportunity for Africans to reconstitute the framework of their country.
That's true, and I'm not
the American regimes. Pardon me, not to cut you off, but the American regimes, the Western regimes in general, they essentially, made every African country a stooge state. Okay,
bro,
you are here to serve us. They have personal relationships with the presidents of those countries. Correct. They essentially enriched them and made sure that they sucked the country dry. So that's been the business model for the past couple of centuries.
I know. I'm not disagreeing, and I'm not even against Russian and Chinese coming to Africa, by the way. You know what? I sometimes want my allies to also take a hit in their teeth to wake up. Everyone needs a wake-up call. I see where you're going. It's a possibility, and it can happen. And I'm not against it. If any nation gets benefit from anyone, let them do it. I'm not a racist. I mean, I am racist against Turks, but that's a different story. But I'm not against it. It can happen.
Why is it that when you do a DNA test, they put Turkey and Armenia and all those areas together?
It's so funny because you know what? And now you're going to laugh at me. Because, so 3 out of 7 DNA or like 6 DNA, international global DNA companies are owned by the Jewish billionaires as well.
I believe it. That's why I don't do it. But my cousin is
so they're helping them. Turkey is asking those companies specifically in return for favors to Israel. They're literally fake newsing, forging information right now with those companies to prevent, there were massive suicide events happening like 4 years ago in Turkey. So the Turks, like ultra-nationalist Turks, were doing DNA tests, like Heritage and 23andMe and blah, blah. And they were suiciding when they were finding out they're like 90% or 80% Armenian. So the Turkish government, it was so serious. I'm not joking. It was so funny. It was so serious that the Turkish government sent letter to all these companies like, we're going to ban you unless you do this and this and this, and if you do it, we're gonna help Israel with this and this. It's a business. It's a business as usual. I'm not against it. They can forge it, but truth will always win at the end. So no matter how much they forge it.
But if you get we have a percentage of this, but it doesn't tell us which it is because it's all together.
Yeah, because they're forging it. Because if they put Armenia and Greek and Kurds, the people will like fake.
Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkey, all together.
Yeah, because that's part of the plan. That's paid forging. How you call it? Paid forging. Yeah. But coming back to Africa again, I wish the best of luck. But unfortunately, again, I'm gonna ask you something, Malcolm, and then I'm gonna know what way you're thinking. How old do you think the American deep state is?
Centuries, I would say.
Millennials. Millennials. And you're gonna be like, what the fuck? America is like 257 years old. I'm gonna tell you millennials, and I'm not gonna go into detail. Google it. Bro, it's the same. Yeah. I love them. I'm not gonna guess them, by the way. And I want Harris to win, by the way.
I know why you love them too, because you're impressed with the business model. I love competence as well.
Exactly. I love competence, intelligence, and I'm like, even though I really was never part of any secretive organizations other than Armenian, but that's a different story. But bro, they're magnificently smart. They're so son of a bitches that I love intelligence. Like it's crazy.
I was reading about Napoleon not that long ago, and as I'm reading about him, right, I'm learning that the Romanov dynasty, which is the Russians, the Hohenzollerns, I forget the other two, but long story short, France, Russia, Britain, and Austria.
Yeah.
All of these families had intertwined bloodlines for generations.
100%.
And
you
basically,
they disappeared. They never disappeared. And then you think those hundreds of thousands of grandchildren just suddenly disappeared? Bullshit, bro. They're still alive. They don't even, like, intentionally, you never heard their names anymore. Bro, you know the Imperial Empire of Austria, the Habsburg, literally have tens of grandchildren alive. And if you Google them, you find that one is doing modeling, the other one is doing consult. Bullshit, bro. Bullshit.
Right. This is the cover.
Yeah, it's bullshit, bro. Bullshit.
I'm just confused. Like, I was listening to you in the other room, and then you kind of made more sense in this room, maybe because I came in a little bit later in that other room.
Sometimes I become radical, so...
Yeah. So I thought you had an issue with Islam. I didn't realize what...
Absolutely fucking... I love Islamic scripture. I love Quran, by the way. I'm actually in search of buying a Quran next week.
Okay, so I misunderstood what you were saying, because you just reposted Dan with his Allahu Akbar on your Twitter.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, I know. It's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the tweet he was responding to, but I just wasn't sure what you were associating with
love Islam. I love Islam. I actually have a theory, which is, so if you go to my Facebook page, which is, I just started, it's like 90 people like her, not the main one, 40,000, the other one. I literally have this project that's called a Shia, which is the Iran Christian, a Shiite Christian. I want to invent this shit. So I love Islam as a philosophy and as a literature. I love Quran because my favorite language ever is Arabic, which is embarrassing to say as an Armenian, but
Arabic is a beautiful language. It's a very strong language.
I love my language, but I'm so good at Arabic. So it's like I'm perfect in Arabic. So you learn it in school, writing, reading, right? Armenian I just learn at home, which is fucking. So I'm absolutely not against Islam. Though I consider half of my friends are Muslims out here in Vienna. I love Islam so much, but I do differentiation. Look, I act like the vaccine. What do you mean by vaccine? A vaccine is the same virus but dead. So no matter how much the virus attacks, they can't win. So I consider myself as a vaccine in Europe. So I would actually fight Islamist movements in Europe who are trying to take over Europe. But that does not mean I hate Islam. Actually, the opposite. I love Islam.
I get it. It's just weird whenever I keep hearing the suffix "ism" added to Islam to make Islam seem somewhat some kind of political means. Yeah. It's just odd. But when you did say Armenia was like the first Christian country, I looked into it with ChatGPT, and what I found really interesting was this is like in the 300 AD, correct?
Yes.
So this is almost 300 years after the birth of Jesus.
Correct.
So it starts to create a lot of questions in my head.
I'm going to tell you how it works. We were the first Christian nation. What it means. So there was the Armenian kingdom. So the people of Armenian kingdom and the kings and the imperial family one day decided after a miracle happening. So every single this country. So you know what Sharia is?
Yeah, but most people don't know what Sharia is.
Sharia is literally the laws that the Islamic country should follow. So
no, that's not what Sharia is. But continue.
Yeah, in a sense. So we were the first nation that accepted Christianity and said every single Armenian from day on must only be Christian, and we will follow the Christian law as the law of the land and as the Sharia. So we were the first Christian nation, not the people. You know what I mean?
No, I understand that. It's just I'm wondering why it took so long.
But there were no nation before us. It took so long because when Christianity started for 300, 400 years, it was persecuted. Literally, the 12 children of Jesus were tortured to death, and people were followed by the... it's like we were dragged and hunted by the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire. Even in Armenia, we had our own religion, pagan religion. Christians were killed for 50, 60, 100 years. So it took so long. Actually, it's only the first nation to ever accept Christianity as a... we imagine how long it took for the Europeans, for some African countries, and all. So we were the first, and it took 300 years, imagine.
Yeah. Got it.
So what I'm saying is, though, we had a very unique place under the Islamic Khilafats, the Abbasiyya, the Umayyad, the Rashidiyya, all of them, right? Because they respected us so much as the first people to embrace Isa ibn Maryam as the religion. So we were always under their, so we were Imara, which is like Emirates.
So what are your thoughts about these empires? Because I'm kind of trying to look at them in the context of like the Islamic jurists and theologians.
We always had a great relationship with them, always. Sometimes like Trump or some
empires
assholes
do bad stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I tell you why. So sometimes assholes like Trump or Putin took the control of those empires, periods of time. Those were the worst, so they came and genocided us, and they increased taxes by 20-fold. But always it was against even the Islamic Sharia when they did it. So we don't conflict as a people. We don't conflict Islam with those maniacs that came and used Islam as a religion to oppress us. You know. So the only time Armenians had really a direct confrontation with something called Islam was literally when the Turks betrayed Islam by themselves and used Islam to justify our genocide. That's the only time in history. And one more point, not a single sultan of the Ottoman Empire ever visited Mecca. They never did Hajj.
You know what's so interesting is
those are Jews, liars.
There's a lot of shows on Netflix. Obviously, it's propaganda shows, but it's pre the Armenian genocide. It's during the times of where it's not. Yeah, and there's another one that I had watched. I forgot what it was called. And it was when they were when that guy Dracula was impaling the Muslims.
Yes.
During that time, and so I had a sense of pride of my Muslim heritage. Obviously, I'm Muslim. I don't know if it's obvious since I'm half naked, but I had a sense of pride of my Muslim heritage. And I came on Clubhouse and I said something, and then the Armenians started attacking me as if I was advocating for the genocide of Armenians.
I will tell you.
But I didn't say anything like that. And since that day, you're literally the only Armenian I've ever heard say what you're saying.
I will tell you something. Don't excuse them. Do you know why? Armenians from the Middle East are like me because we grew up with Islam in Islamic countries. Armenians who are not exposed to anything in the modern time called Islam hate Islam not because they hate Islam. They don't even know what Islam means. Just because even Armenians believe that some Armenians, that big chunk of it, they did that genocide just because of Islamic Sharia, which is absolutely bullshit. It is actually against Islamic law that what they did to us. So don't excuse them. It's ignorance, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's they have nothing because they don't know what Islam is. They don't know what Sharia is. They've never been to Islamic country, most of them. So understand them, and it's wrong. It's 100% wrong. I even sometimes have huge problems in my community. Because all these movies that you watch, the series, I watch them, every single one of them. I love them. It's funny to say I love them because I was the victim, but I love them. They do great job. They're son of a bitches in marketing. Most of them are propaganda, but there's so much historic context.
Yeah.
Again, do you know Paytaht Abdul Hamid II, the series?
I didn't watch Osman. Which one?
Oh my god! If you do
it's not accessible, and I didn't even finish Ertugrul because it was so long. But I love Turgut. Turgut was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because of everything it went through.
And by the way, an extra point. It's so funny that Armenians in the Ottoman Empire were like the Jews today in America. So we had the most powerful, bro. We had every fucking shit. We were the ruling class.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Armenians are in Palestine, and like they're part of our society.
100%. 100%. Yeah. The only fuck up happened is, again, Jews will be sad if I say it, but it's when the crypto Jewish, ultra malicious, secularist, Satan worshipist people.
I mean, that's not the fall of the Ottoman.
Exactly. So that's funny because the enemies of the Turks were also our enemies. They made us enemies out of brotherhood. The problem is it's so hard to convince both sides, Turks and even Armenians. That's why I think that I must be a leader in Armenia, which I'm working on, because I'm the only bridge that can connect the two without assimilation. Because Armenia is like, they're evil, they want the khilafat, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They want to assimilate us and make us Turks and all that bullshit. And the Turks is like those Christian kuffar, they want to kill us and they work with the West to end it's like bullshit. The people are so innocent, the people are so ignorant, they're intellectually bankrupt. And I don't excuse them, I don't blame them. It's pain in the ass to hear them, but it is what it is. But again, biggest proof is Armenia was always, like, Armenia is the only Christian nation that is literally in ally relationship with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Like, bro, it's an Islamic Republic of Iran. If you go to Iran, Armenians are so wealthy. We have churches, we have like, oh my God, I've been there by the way, I've been to Tehran. So, oh my God, and lately, not like 100 years ago. So it's sad. You need like, I call myself, even though I hate the guy, I call myself the Ben Shapiro and Karl Stakkerson of the Armenians, and I have the duty and the obligation to educate my people. And it's so hard. Like, yeah, it's sad.
Okay, then I completely misunderstood what you were saying in the other room because of the language that you were using, and I was like, is he saying the Muslims hate Jesus Christ? But I realized now you were talking about the Jews.
No. Turks, again, I told Malcolm, Turks are psyop. They're not, I don't consider them Muslims at all.
I hear you. Like, I used to be friends with a Turkish girl on here, and she's like half Yemeni, half Turkish, and the culture there is very interesting.
Actually, it's funny that the Turks say we want to be the Islamic Empire, right? Okay, great. At the same time, they say Armenia never existed in history, right? Which is so hilarious. But okay, great. At the same time, go to not Armenian maps or Western Christian maps, right? Go to Islamic maps of the Persian Empire, of the Caliphate, of the Islam. Like, bro, there were letters sent by Prophet Muhammad to Armenian nation saying, Arman, blah, blah, blah. So, how did Armenians not exist if you're fucking, like, bro, if your prophet is contacting our kings, it's hilarious. But yeah, they're ignorant as well. There's literally maps
But what you said about, like, how the French and the British just drew borders, not to, like, change the subject, it's very true because you could go from one place, from Lebanon all the way to Iraq to Saudi, like, it was more, they had trains that navigated from one big city to another city, and all of that was destroyed.
100%.
Like, imagine the way the society lived during that time.
Yeah, 100%. British are the most fuck-ups. They're the worst. I hate them so much. I want independence, Scotland and United Ireland. That's one of my main objectives in life until I die. British are the worst of the worst.
So you want Northern Ireland to be back with Ireland?
100,000%. It's due. If I had the chance, I would even pick up arms and go and fight for them.
Because there's a guy on this app who's in Northern Ireland, and he's the opposite. He wants to be part of the UK.
Long live the IRA, bro. Fuck the British son of a bitches. The Brits are the core, the original last outspot of the true Satanist empire on the globe. They are Turkey is the condom, the dick dog of Britain, by the way. Turkey got only away with everything they done because Britain.
Obviously even Saudi, like, their ability to established their statehood was through Great Britain, correct?
Yeah, but but the Turks have special. The Turks are Saudis. Yes, use the British and all that, but Saudis are they have Wahhabism, so they can fight against Britain if they fucking go maniac.
No, Wahhabism is gone. Now it's Madkhalism.
Yeah, I know. That was a different story, but they had what I mean.
Yeah,
The Turks are void. They have nothing. They are literally the bitches of Britain. Nothing.
So why do you think? Okay, so I know you were talking about. I don't know if you were talking about whiteness as an Armenian or just Armenian and their connection to Western European.
No,
why do you think? Why are there so many people who claim? Hold on. Why are there so many people who claim Christianity that have this blind allegiance to Great Britain because of this perceived whiteness of them? You don't think there's this like perceived allyship with them?
They're the Satanists. They're the worst thing. They fucked the Catholic Church by creating something.
Yeah, but they don't seem to care. They like put their whiteness above them.
They're ignorant. Like evangelicals in America, you're supporting Israel. Oh my God, what the fuck is that? Judeo-Christian culture. Yeah, Jesus was Christian, and Judea was the cross that they put on him. It's like it's bullshit. It's ignorant to the deepest. What is it? The king of England, Satanist king, had 5 prostitution wives. He was pissed from the Pope. That's it. That's bad. So he was literally the Andrew Tate of his time, and he invented the church. Wow. And they did wars. They literally did wars against Catholic Christian people, and I'm not Catholic, by the way. They killed millions of Christians. They're satanic as, bro. Just Google the city of London, not London, the city of London, the where the Satan resides. It's literally. Did you see the picture of the king, the red picture that they did? Mm-hmm. What more satanic bullshit you need? They have nothing to do with Christianity.
No, I hear you, and I hear what you said about Turkey and how they have like the strategic ability to attack like Israel, especially since they have base in Azerbaijan and different places. But my question to you is, why is Iran not doing anything?
Well, look, there's this conspiracy in the Middle East that says Iran and Israel are actually the best allies. This is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, because I'm
very logical. It's very logical. It's very logical.
I'm very upset that Ismail Haniyeh was killed in Iran, and I believe Iran had to do with something with him being killed. Like, I am very, very sad that they killed him.
I ain't gonna lie. When I read that headline in the morning, I was hella confused. Like, hold on, who died? Where? How?
I will tell you something. You know what? I was so pissed for 4 days. I was waiting. I was even trolling Danielle.
I'm still upset. I still retweet photos of him and his granddaughter.
Yeah, but you know what? By the way, I have Qasim Sulaiman's picture on my first pinned tweet. Like, it was my first tweet ever, and I'm not gonna change it. Look, it's a bit Look, Iran is Persia Plus, like Pro, like iPhone Pro X Max Plus, blah blah blah. Like Iran is. I love them, bro. They're so fun. Look, by not responding, what did they do? First of all, they exposed the entire Islamic Sunni world as pussies. So your guy, a Sunni guy, got assassinated. It was my mistake. My security is compromised. Okay, I accept that. That's humiliation. But where are the tens of thousands of Sunni?
No, I hear you. I hear you. But I'm also mad at us. I'm mad at Ismail Haniyeh because we, the Palestinians, are dumbasses. Why are we going to Iran when they're Shia and they hate us?
What other solutions do you have?
I get it. What is it?
I know that there's a cultural. I know that there's a cultural.
Listen, I got exposed.
Shias and the Sunnis, but nonetheless, the biggest supporters of resistance in the Middle East are the Iranians.
Hold on. I'm not saying. Listen, I like many Muslims used to say it's a political difference between Shia and Sunni. Until I got on this app and I interacted with Shias that said really what they wanted to say because they could hide behind anonymity. And the things that they said about our companions, about the wives of the Prophet, even theological differences, even how they perceive
Can I ask you something? Yeah.
They don't perceive
How do you know they're not Zionist bots that work on making Sunnis and Shias.
Oh my God, bro! I was just thinking to myself, like, how do you know you wasn't talking to AI?
Exactly. So
this is like this was like 2 years ago before AI became.
Don't fall for it. It's the same what happened with you when Armenians were talking shit about Islam. How do you know they're not Turks pretending to be Armenians to talk shit about Islam, that they make Armenia and Islamic world collide? This is very.
You don't want to become a nut and think that everything is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But definitely rely more on your lived experience.
Okay. No, I get it. But the Maraja, like, okay, let's not even go to the Maraja. Let's just go to their Aqidah. When it comes to my coughs aren't very strong. When it comes to their Aqidah, or not even that, when it comes to how they see the Sunni Muslim,
yes,
they don't see the Sunni Muslim as, they might see them as a Muslim, and I think whoever is a mu'min is between God and only God knows, but they have this understanding that a Sunni Muslim can never be a mu'min.
A question mark. I have a question mark for you. A, why does it matter? B, let's say they do that. How will it harm?
Because what I'm saying is, like, why did Ismail compromise themselves by going to Iran and be like, why is Hamas in general compromising themselves with Iran?
Princessia, respectfully. Hold on, post that, John. Respectfully, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, even the Syrian rebels. Okay, but all of these people. Hold on, ma'am. I said one sentence, please, respectfully. All of these people are being supplied by Iran. Okay, so these folks, and I'm talking about Hamas. There's a media blackout as far as America's concerned. You see the way they reacted when Tucker Carlson went over to Russia to interview Putin. It's the same policy for Hamas. Don't go over to the Middle East to give these people a platform. We don't need any sympathizers. We need folks to think that they're monsters so that when we wipe them out, there's no tear shed, essentially, right? So the only state that's willing to receive him in a proper and respectable manner is the one that's supplying him with all the weapons to engage in resistance.
He was safe in Qatar all these years. He went to Turkey.
Nonetheless, the man lost his whole entire family. What more do you have to lose?
No, he didn't. This is the other thing is people don't fact check. He lost some of his sons. He lost some of his granddaughters. But he did not lose his whole family. He has 13 children.
Yeah,
I follow.
But he didn't listen. It's trivial, honestly.
No, it is.
You lose a bunch of kids, right? Whether it's your entire family or half your family.
Bro,
no, it matters. It matters that they.
Why do you say he got the shahada? Wait, he got the shahada.
I know.
So why are you sad?
Because he's so beautiful. Like, I love him. He's such a sweet, beautiful man. His reputation.
He was a leader, I know. And sooner or later, there's no way he's gonna. Bro, it was expectable. There is no way ever.
أنا مش مرتاحة إلى سنوار. أنا مش مرتاحة إله. Like, at all. ما برتاح له.
I ain't gonna lie though, sweetie. We're not doing that. We're gonna speak.
No, that's fine. She said that she doesn't.
Don't translate it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Look, we're going to details into like a Palestinian issue. Long story short, there's this universal, like, intergalactic war of happening. You have to be super ingenious, like genius smart to not fall for psyops, and you have to be sometimes humiliated, sometimes humility, sometimes pride. It's a tough game. We're fighting against ultimate evil that exists in the universe, that is representing in some dark forces on the globe that are satanic, destructive.
By the way, Adrian, Adrian's recording this conversation, just so you know.
Look, I'm gonna be something.
Forces overcome like what they're dealing with right now, but what I dislike is the fact that, like, the majority of their interests, pretty much all of their interests, right, are dependent upon the international community in terms of advancing.
Yeah, I know.
Right. They can't really militaristically push back.
You know what I want? You know what I want? It's a project that I'm also working on it, and you're gonna be shocked about. Listen to this. I want the monarchy in Jordan to be assassinated.
and a new Palestine to be established, and Jordan to be the new Palestine. And I want Israel. It's so funny, but listen to me. I want Israel to take over the entire land. In return, Israel creates a new Palestine for the Palestinians, and they give them Jordan. So only then the Palestinians will have an official state that they can build up an army and go head to head with Israel. Otherwise, it's not fair. In all cases, Jordan is a failed fucking state with a Jewish Hebrew monarchy that is the bitch of Mossad. So
you live in a fantasy land, brother.
Are
you saying like
you live in a fantasy land? Respectfully,
the
Israelis have a containment policy in effect for the folks of Palestine. They want to contain that population at all costs. If you look at Netanyahu's 1996 address to Congress, right? He said, look at the continent of Africa. Hold on, real quick. He said, look at the continent of Africa, right? There are plenty of foreign militaries, right, in African nations, and no one's calling it occupation. Why do we have to call the IDF's military presence in Palestine, so-called Palestine, according to him, a military presence, or pardon me, a military occupation? So, like, you know, I don't know. If we're playing fantasy geopolitics, that's a possibility, but I don't see that happening.
I will tell you something. I need to run soon because it's like midnight in here, but look, it is a fantasy, but don't forget, the Jews had the fantasy of today's Israel for 2,000 years, and today is a fucking reality. So fantasy, every dream starts with delusion, then into fantasy, then if you're smart and hard and work hard and be brave and strong enough and intelligent enough, that fantasy turns into reality. I want this fake fucking state of Jordan to be ended. I want a new Palestine to be created. By the way, 60% of Jordanians are Palestinians. So the 40% they can go and suck the dick of Saudis.
But don't you think we have like what's the word I'm looking for? Strong spiritual and emotional attachment to our actual land in Palestine?
I will tell you something. Yes, I will tell you something. Of course, I understand it, and I sympathize with it. I will not tolerate one thing, which is the destruction of Al-Aqsa Mosque and the establishment of the Third Temple. That one I would fucking not tolerate. So if you create a new Palestine and you make the capital of the new Palestine instead of this fucking fake Oman which is bankrupted, east of Jerusalem, that would be the best deal ever. You would have an army, you would have soldiers, you would be a state to be able to protect about yourself. And one more thing, don't be sad. Look, I come from the Middle East, but this is a point that I really agree with the Jews, and don't be offended, but that's also really true. Why the fuck do we need another failed Arab state? We have Tunisia failed state. We have most of the Arab world failed state. So I do want a Jewish state. And from Jewish state, I have only one red line in Palestine. The Aqsa Mosque must not be touched because I know exactly why they're going to do it. They're going to do this satanic ritual and they're going to create this global new religion, which is super dangerous as fuck because they want to destroy the Aqsa Mosque and create the Third Temple and I don't respond to whoever they want to do it. And I truly believe in the Dajjal story that the Shias keep telling. I really, truly believe that. So that is the red line. That's like a dead fucking
also
line.
Post, I hear you.
What do you think the future of Palestine is?
Can I just say something about his new Palestine in Jordan? It's from obviously the green and the fertility of the land in Palestine is not the same as Jordan either.
I know, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna be so
like we're farmers, we're city.
I know, but I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna be harsh, but I'm gonna tell you something that you need to hear, and not a lot of people are saying. Look, Armenians lost 90% of the land that we lived on for 5,000 years. It's now Turkey and part of it Azerbaijan. I know what you're saying, but exactly like we have to compromise and accept the realities of the centuries that we live in and accept the fact that the satanic global elites have the superpower after God to do whatever the fuck they want. We have to go with the best outcome possible, even if it's the bad between the worst. You know what I'm
He's
going
saying
to?
the same thing. Look,
So
I
it's
feel as though
impossible. The idea of creating, bro, it's impossible. Look, tomorrow, Iran sends 1 million soldiers. Hezbollah sends 150,000, and Yemen sends 100,000, and Israel is no longer, right? IDF is lost. There's no Israel, and they lose, right? You know what will happen? You think Palestine will establish? Bro, millions of Western soldiers will come back, invade it, and recreate Israel. There's no way Israel will fail. Bro, let's say IDF is killed. Not a single IDF soldier is left. Iran, let's say somehow a miracle happens and Saudi Arabia wakes up and they send 400,000 army, like 1 million soldiers, and they liberate Palestine. There is no way that's the end of the story. The next day, somehow these old globalist satanic people will pretend they're a Christian again, and the Pope will go for the third crusade, and Western armies will pour in like hell, and they're gonna liberate it again, and they're gonna get back to the Israelis. So I'm sorry, but forget about the state of Palestine. No fucking way. Even if Israel,
they need to
look,
absorb the Palestinians.
If you look at Netanyahu's post-war plan for Gaza, right? This whole rehabilitate the Palestinian population thing, right? This is all to produce a cultural change in the population. But respectfully, if they got a Yahya Sinwar 75 years from 1948, right? They're gonna get another Yahya Sinwar, 75 years from 2023. So I think that
Sinwar was tortured in prison. Let's just be clear.
And that's why they're conducting a little bit of a soft cleansing. Because I don't think that they can complete the cleansing they're trying to conduct. So I think it's a soft cleansing.
Again, bro, it's a slow.
Listen. I think that they'll push the line as far as trying to reduce them to the parallel equivalent of Native Americans in the U.S. The population is so small that they'll be entitled to essentially small
100%. They're going to be minority
reservations.
The only
it doesn't
way
even compare. The Native Americans were absorbed into U.S. society. Like they would never absorb us into Israeli society. That's the point.
No. I don't think you heard me, right? They absorbed the Native Americans post reducing the population.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So there's rumors of a cleansing, and essentially, I don't think that they can see the entirety of the cleansing through the finance minister. Essentially, just suggests starving 2 million people, and he was condemned by the international community. So there's pressure from within and from without Israel to essentially, watch how they conduct themselves. So they won't go as far as to perhaps wipe out the entire 2 million, but I think that they're going to eliminate a significant fraction so that when they come back into the territory, things are easier to maintain.
Look, this is the last thing I'm going to say. As a future possible leader of Armenia, which I'm working on, I see it one way. If Palestine will ever survive as a thing, it's Jordan. You need to do exactly like what Israeli Jews did. You need to colonize them, take over their country, and reestablish your own country from the history. That's the only way possible. There's no way on, even though I'm a huge supporter of Iran and the axis of resistance. I literally have their pictures all over my social media, which is illegal in my country. I can be imprisoned if they see that, by the way. And many people actually threaten me all the time. If you screenshot and go to the police, you're going to eat like 3,000 euro fine. I am telling you someone who is pro-axis of resistance. And Iran is not stupid. Iran knows the only way Palestine will survive is if a neo-Palestine will be created in Jordan. And by doing that, you only can do it by wiping out the royal family, which are like less than 20 people, but it's not so hard. It's literally not hard. If you're literally JFKing and trumping them in America, you can do that shit in the Middle East, especially that every fucking one can be a terrorist at any given second if they get enough money and training. So the only way Palestine will survive is Jordan turning into greater Palestine, and the Jewish state is there. They're not gonna lose. The only way that Israel is gonna fail, I'm telling you, if really the story of the Dajjal is real and some sort of apocalyptic biblical event happens and Jesus come back, and that's a completely different story. But like in modern day warfare, technology, bullshit. Israel will not fail, bro. They own the central banks of the world. Are you joking? I laugh at the reports like Israel having big economic downturn. What? Bro, they can create 20 billion times new Israels overnight if they want to, those global elites. They will not lose. They cannot lose. Again, it's a colonial hotspot entity.
Yeah, you know what they remind me of? On some sidebar shit. You ever watch the Game of Thrones and seen
No, I didn't.
What's that island?
I didn't.
Where she? You never seen the Game of Thrones?
No, I didn't.
Huh. But there's an island in the Game of Thrones. Like basically, all of the kings, they're seen as like these prestigious figures or whatever the case may be. But like they'll go to this island and they're basically panhandlers to a bunch of bankers. Like, yeah, they're still kings, they're still nobles, but they gotta argue their case before these bankers because they don't have enough money to fund their own wars. And it goes to show you, like, there's checks and balances to this whole power thing. Because the bankers, when they want to, they could kind of like change the tide of who's in control by just extending money to one empire in surplus, and boom, the world's changed.
Yeah,
but you should watch that show. It's a really good show.
You know why I didn't watch it? I consider it to be so gay to watch it. Everyone was watching it. I'm like, I'm the resistance. I'm not gonna watch it. It's so funny. I did like a challenge. I'm not gonna fucking watch it. That's why. But
that leftist, new era LGBTQ shit.
Yeah. Do you have Twitter?
I actually do have a Twitter account.
You don't use it?
The name is different. It's not like a real Twitter account.
You can find my Twitter's on my bio here on Clubhouse. You can find me there. I'm gonna be more active in Twitter a lot. Like I'm doing a budget right now to invest like $2,000 in my Twitter account, advertisement and all that shit. I'm gonna be super active on Twitter. I'm actually also working on Facebook. I have 40,000 followers on Facebook already, which I built from zero. To be yeah. But that one is only Armenia based, very localized, very nationalized, not English based. But my Twitter will be international. I'm gonna try to join the league of the three legend Tate, Dan, and Candace in the next 5 years.
Yo, I want to know, were you a politician in your country or just a private citizen participating in politics?
Bro, I'm 24, a private citizen.
No doubt. I forgot.
How old do you think I am?
I mean, honestly, I didn't know, but I don't really make those kind of assumptions because when I was younger, folks used to tell me things, but I just don't let this shit get to my head. I like where you at though, brother. If you keep it up, keep yourself humble, and just keep the same appetite. All these ambitions that you got, you might actually realize them. Right?
100%. I'm putting my blood and feet and my what's the thing? I'm tired now. Sweat. I'm putting my sweat and blood into this.
You gotta have like an athlete's mindset, a conqueror's mindset. Because I've been reading about Napoleon, and this is a dude that lived in a time where there was no smartphone.
It's so funny. Yeah.
You still needed to keep that mind engaged and stimulated, and folks just, standardized being productive back then. Like they'd actually pick up and write, and they feel sophisticated. They feel fulfilled.
I'm writing my book, by the way. I know. I'm writing a book at the same time next to all this that I'm doing.
What is it about?
Everything that we spoke, but more like internet. So technically, I'm gonna make it I am making it about my philosophy, about this universal philosophy of ethics, morality, and mysticism, in decoding the universe, human civilization, a mixture of anthropology as well as theology. So it's gonna be great. And you know what I'm gonna put the title? It's crazy. You know where Hitler is from?
Where?
from Austria. And do you know where he studied? Where he lived and worked and studied? In Vienna. So he applied to be an artist in Vienna and they rejected him. The next year he decided to become Hitler, right? So I literally study at art university in Vienna. So I'm gonna I swear to God, everyone is dying in my university. I'm afraid the shit out of them. I keep trolling it. I'm afraid, but I use the joke. I'm gonna call my book, I'm gonna call it, because he called his book My Struggle. You know, Mein Kampf. You know?
Right.
I'm gonna call my book Our Struggle. It's gonna be so hilarious. I swear to God.
I can say that in German.
Unserer Kampf.
Unserer Kampf.
Unserer Kampf. Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. And I'm gonna
a lot of expression.
Unserer Kampf.
Before you go, since you're like a student of Arabic and you're really like it, when you hear the word Sharia, what does it illustrate in your mind linguistically? Like, what is the linguistic, not the legal definition, illustrate in your mind?
I see the word in my head, literally the word, because I love Arabic. I love alphabet calligraphy. So I see the word. I literally see the word.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because a lot of people don't understand that Sharia is a path to goodness from the linguistic, theological sense. Are you aware of that?
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't see it that way. When you say the word Sharia, the first thing that comes in my mind is the word written, like the calligraphy of the word, you know?
Got it. But you know what makes me think? I wonder if Sharia and Shada are from the same juzith. You know, like Shada, like street.
Yeah, interesting. No, I don't think so. But what I also think
I think it is actually.
I see Sharia as a constitution, the real, like Islamic constitution. That's what I see it in a sense. That is always hijacked by some morons, by the way. Yeah. But I'm gonna call it Unserer Kampf. I'm writing it. I have so much on my plate, but I even, bro, crazy. Imagine one day you see me on the television becoming the president.
Well, we don't know how you look like, so we can't. So we'll just try to hear your voice.
I literally look like my picture. This is like a literally picture of myself.
Are you a redhead?
It's literally me. This is literally me. I'm not joking. It's like just me.
So you're a redhead.
Don't worry, I'm definitely gonna tap in with you, bro. I fuck with your whole depth of knowledge, bro. Like you know what you're talking about.
Instagram, if you want to see me, if you go to Instagram, write this name or put Ark, like Ark of Noah, Ark Postayan, and you can see me on Instagram.
Yeah. You gonna start hosting spaces?
Twitter, most probably. Not now. I'm putting my budget together because I'm so pissed at Elon Musk, bro. He's stupid as fuck. He has the worst. He wants so much money to fight the mainstream media, right? And all this company, they are boycotting him and this company, Twitter. Bro, but he has so shitty ad system. Like, it's so expensive. It's so shitty to market on Twitter. It's so shitty.
You mentioned though, real quick, what you think about what's going on in Venezuela?
Oh, bro, I'm not going into that. I have so much in my plate. I think it's funny. He's fighting Jews. I know Maduro is fighting Jews and Zionists, but I think he's fucked up. Venezuela is fucked up both cases. Like, Malay is worse for, like, it's the same shit, bro, for me. It's sad. I don't want to talk about it. It's so deep. It's sad. I don't want Malay to win. Fuck Malay, bitch, Zionist bitch, son of a bitch. But Maduro is also bullshit. Like, bro, Venezuela became a shit country. It was the wealthiest country on the planet.
Yeah, but it's still all them fucking embargoes.
Yeah, I know mainly 90%. That's what I argue. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't want to go. Like, I have so much war in Middle East and my country.
When they make you, when you don't have a foreign policy that's consistent with what they want you to do, they just embargo the shit out of you and call your leadership incompetent.
I know. That's why you have to do exactly like who? Like PBD. Play both sides, know your target. Don't play both sides. No, that's hypocrisy. That's the title of his book is great, bro. Read it.
You gotta be like the Indians, man. The Indians really do it the best. PBD don't got shit on Marty.
They're smart, but they can only do it because they're $1.5 billion. So everyone wants them. everyone wants them as soldiers, cannon feathers, you know. Do as people that's the last thing I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. By the way, they're the biggest ally of Armenia. We are the number one arms buyer of India. Imagine 194 countries. The tiny Armenia is the first number one buyers of Indian army, like arms, like how Israel buys arms from America, we buy same from India, and I don't know how great. Yeah, I don't even know how great that would. We never tested it. We just started it 3 years ago because we left Russia behind and we can't buy from the West because it's super expensive. And now we're like all in India. I think they're good. We never tested them out. I'm afraid from testing because even India didn't test them out. India never.
Let me ask you a question. You think Trudeau or one of these Canadian administrators? You think they're going to push on India?
He can, bro. He can suck my ass. He can't even manage Canada. He wants to, bro. He can suck my ass. He's a liberal dictator. Yeah, I love him. It's a funny guy. I enjoy watching him. Like, he thinks that he's really something. It's funny. I wanted to hunt him when he did the COVID shit. Bro, bullshit. That guy is a kid, bro. He's a kid. He's a gay kid. Bro, he's a kid. He's a kid. He's literally a kid. That's all. He's a kid. He's not a prime minister. He's a kid. That's what I was a kid. Like a child. He's a child. Happy child. Yeah, he comes from aristocratic family. His father was the prime minister. Part of his family are Jews. Part of his family are Kabbalah Satanists. So they put him there. He's a puppet child. I like him. He's a cool guy. He knows how to speak like Obama. But he's an idiot. He's an idiot, moron child. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Obama was fucking... He bedazzled you with those words and dropped drawn with the straightest face.
Yeah, I like Obama. I like him. He was good. Like, good by a sense of, like, a posture. He did so many shit, but yeah, anyways, let's end it here. It's a slippery slope. The more we talk, it never ends. But one thing, one day, imagine you're gonna go wake up and see from the television the leader of Armenia gonna say, "I know this motherfucker from Clubhouse." Imagine that.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely probably take a trip there. Come see you. But I'm gonna check you out on Twitter though. You know, don't forget to come on Clubhouse though. You know what I'm saying?
100%. It's the same name everywhere. Ark and my last name here, Postayan. Ark Postayan everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Ark like Noah's, right? So ARCH.
Ark, no, K. Ark, like Ark of Noah.
Oh, it's an ARK?
Yeah, Ark of Noah, then Postayan.
Alright, no doubt. I say that. So yeah, I'm gonna tap in with you, Postaya.
Sure, talk to you guys.
Alright, take it easy, brother.
Right, you too. Have a good day. Ciao.